Let me just you can stop streaming. I'm gonna stream in a second. I'm just logging in right now so I can
Yeah, bet.
make a custom game and we'll break down these notes. It's quite a lot of notes. I just kind of wrote down the more important stuff. Some stuff we didn't talk about, some stuff we did briefly. Not we didn't break it down, right? But I brought it up, right? So we'll
Yeah.
break those down into further detail so you can fully understand what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Do you mind if you give me just one
Yeah,
minute? I
go
just
ahead. Go
wanna.
washroom, get some water, whatever you need.
Yeah. I can't play another, but I am on
Yeah,
Discord
yeah,
for the
that's
whole like
fine.
breakdown. That's
We'll
cool.
don't worry. We'll break the notes down and then we'll yeah.
Alright, cool. 1 sec.
All right. I'm gonna be honest. His aim is quite good, very good for this level. I think he struggles with a lot of his positioning. And then as well, a little bit of fundamental stuff and conceptual stuff. Like he barely made a mid-round call, um, until the end where he's like, "Go B, go B." That was like the only call he made in my eyes. So I would like him to be the leader, right? Be the IGL, especially if he's got aim like that and he incorporates setting his teammates up. I think it will be quite a
I've got
benefit to
all
him.
the time in the world.
There's quite a bit of notes.
Hello.
Yep, yep.
I know I can come back to life
You
and
have
all,
time,
but
right? You're
will
not
it
like
still
in a
hurt?
rush,
So
right?
don't give me
No,
bright
not on a
ideas.
rush. No,
Okay, okay,
no.
cool. So the notes, we're gonna break them down. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna talk. We're gonna theory craft. So this whole custom part we're in probably will take about an hour and a half. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
I bet.
My
And then
ult is
I
ready.
will also, on top of the notes, teach you some stuff that I feel like you may not use or understand, stuff like that. Okay, so wait 1 second. You can see my screen, right? All
Yeah, I
right,
can see.
so generally on the first session with new students, I take notes in 5 categories, and I call them the 5 big umbrellas because obviously there's multiple smaller things in these categories, but these are the 5 big general things I focus on. Okay, so that's going to be communication, aim, utility usage, movement slash positioning, and game sense slash mental game. That's 5, right? So we'll go through them one by one. So I'm gonna be honest. I think your aim is quite strong. I don't see really any too much problems. Like you're not whiffing on people. You're one tapping people. That's good. Instantly killing them. It's pretty good. And I'll be honest. A lot of students come to me and they all say 95% of students I asked them, what's your problem? They're like, aim, aim, like you did. You know how you're listing only aim stuff in the beginning? I don't think it's your
Yeah.
problem. Aim is not your problem. Okay, and this is something I've said a lot to a lot of students because it's objective. It's true. I think your aim is quite good. The problems I'm seeing are more game sense, communication skills, calling, IGLing skills, right? Positioning, micro and macro in terms of your positioning, setting up your teammates' positioning, and then also understanding the enemy's positionings and what they're doing. That's the bigger problem, especially in this elo, right? So we're gonna
Hmm.
be probably talking about that more. Okay, so communication. First category is communication. The first note I wrote is needs to IGL more. You know what IGL stands for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
In game leader.
Good. Okay, I asked that not to see if you're dumb, but to open your mind up. You understand what it means. IGL. So I would like you to kind of, how do I put this in words? Step up to the plate every game. I know a lot of students, a lot of people struggle with wanting to be an IGL. Why? There's a lot involved. Fear of judgment, how they sound, what they're saying. They don't know what to do. They don't have these skills to be a leader. And I'll ask you, have you been an athlete or anything like that?
Yeah.
Play
Like
sports?
I ran like cross country and relay.
Sure. Relay. Relay is a perfect example. There's usually a leader. No? There's usually one guy that kind of
Yeah, usually
rallies
it
people
was actually
together.
usually second, funny enough, but yeah.
Sure.
In our group anyway, he was in second, yeah.
Right, right. But you get my point where like there's usually that one guy everybody respects, looks up to, and he really kind of manages everyone's mental. Maybe will even teach them stuff, right? And so in my eyes, I'm a athlete. I've been playing sports my whole life, whatever, gaming my whole life, okay? I'm 29, I'm a bit older than you. But in my experience, and I've won championships in high school, college with American football, stuff like that. So, but in my eyes, okay, the best players tend to kind of teach the other guys what to do, how to do things, no? And so
Yeah.
what I want you to start thinking about is that you are the best player on the team. You need to believe that. And if you are the best player on the team, you are the one that is going to lead them, tell them what to do. And that's in Valorant, that's the IGL role. And so I would like you to kind of pick up this role because you have the potential to. I don't think I would tell you that if I'm like, oh, this guy has absolutely no leadership skills. Okay, anybody that played sports has leadership skills. It's just whether you want to do it or not. And I understand as well that there's a lot of responsibility there. Most people don't want to IGL because of they don't want to get blamed. They don't want to have to take accountability and sit there and say, "Oh fuck, I fucked up this call. We lost the game because of it." I'm telling you, that's the main reason. Even if the people say it or not, they don't want to take that burden on them, right? So, but in my eyes, the best player takes that burden because they're gonna improve upon making mistakes, making the wrong call, fucking up, right? So I would like you to
Mm.
kind of think about this more, where you take the IGL role, manage it. It's also managing them, right? For example, when you're on defense, tell them, guys, we need to fight for A. I'm gonna be honest, the amount you guys fought for A is too low. If I was against playing
Yeah.
against you, I would have told them, guys, they don't even fight for A. They just throw a smoke. There's nothing coming. Let's bum rush it. And then you would be back here by yourself while there's 2B, 2C, 4C, and we would have A for free. And you just
Yeah.
and there's also a map knowledge thing involved with that because generally what is kind of harder to defend, B, C, or A
Uh,
in your eyes?
defend.
Yes.
Mm.
What space is more valuable to protect, B main, C main, or A main? Super
Oh, yeah,
simple.
A main.
A main, right? And there's reasons I can explain it. It's because look how big this space is compared to B main and C main, right? Mound might be
Yeah.
somewhat similar, but the problem is also here because on C, yes, you can go through the door, but here there's so many options. You can go through stairs, here, tree, right? You can split A through three ways: stairs, here, and tree. You can even set up a fake to go B. On C, it's not as easy to do that because it's not connected into the site, is it? It's B main, the door. You understand?
Hmm.
So even if you do a B fake from C, this guy's just sitting here. It's like, oh, their door's open, and then they start rotating through Link.
Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah.
You get my point? Here,
Yeah.
it's like instant when they come in B, they're on site. Here, it's not the same. Do you understand that point?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of why, in my eyes, and to good players' eyes, that A is the more valuable space that you need to control on defense. So and I'm breaking it down pretty extensively, but that's goes into IGLing. You should be managing them and be like, guys, we need to fight for A. Leave chamber C. I will play B. You play A. Um, it was Raze, Neon. Who was the fifth one? I'm missing.
Echo.
Gecko, right? They can do it, and you can smoke from here as well. And then you can just
Yeah,
anchor
of
B,
course.
right? And you can
Yeah.
anchor it from here or here. Or usually I tend to do it from Link. I'll if they want to smoke, I'll smoke for them, and I'll just kind of get to Link usually. Because if they're not there, there's three there, so they don't need my help, and I need to go help C. Does that make sense? So that's why I generally go
Hmm.
C Link. All right. So with that note, want you to IGL more, adopt the IGL role more, okay? Because it's a very crucial skill as well that you need to develop if you want to be Radiant. Maybe you'll get to Radiant and you don't want to IGL because there's better IGLs, but you still need to understand what the IGL is thinking, so that way you can put your 2 cents in, you know, maybe influence his calls in some way where he was kind of getting a call wrong, or it's a bad call in your mind, your gut, and then you're like, wait, can we just kind of maybe do this as well, or this instead? Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
that's that. Any
Does.
questions with this note?
Nothing on like the IGL, 100% agree. I
Yep.
think like for this, like for my game specifically,
Mhm.
with the A fight
Mhm.
thing, I agree definitely. Like obviously I know like take the A space.
Yep.
I
Yep.
that usually is how it is.
Yep.
But like since they were more like I would say like 60-70% of the time it was just C rush.
Mhm.
Is it like too it's I don't personally I don't think it's like too bad of a grief to be like completely passive on A or like give it up considering like they were
Yep.
definitely more like C centric.
Yep. I like that idea, that thought process there, where you're like, um, wait, they're kind of going C a lot. We can just stack lean C more than A. We can kind of
Yeah.
leave it more passively. Yeah, that's fine too.
But
But
I didn't communicate that on that
right,
point.
right.
You know what
You
I mean? It
didn't.
kind of just
Yeah,
happened.
exactly. It just happened, and also it was too early. Like we just started stacking B and C after 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Like that's not
Yeah.
enough for me
Kind of
to.
goes like that.
Like if it
Yeah.
was 4-0, different story, right? But it was like pretty even in the beginning in terms of score, the round. So like even
I
then,
mean, to
it's
be honest, like
yeah.
I actually think in my game specifically,
Hmm.
like not like not to like I didn't play like a perfect game, but I think
Yeah.
the second round when I had the sheriff and I killed 3 people on their buy on the A push,
Sure.
definitely like they kind of felt like oh shit we can't win this. They kind
Right,
maybe gave them a bit that mental
but
as
you
well.
have to look at it this way in Immortal lobbies. Okay, they're not gonna. Yeah, I understand that thought process. Like, oh fuck, we got shit on. Maybe we should try something else. But it's only 1 round. If it
Yeah, one
was
round. Yeah,
3 rounds in a row, 4 rounds in a row, yes, you can. We can definitely make a definitive case that that is the thought process, and they won't come back. Okay, and even then, a lot of the times, in my lobbies, mid Immortal lobbies, they will make that call to be like, let's go, because we know that we got shit on 4 times on A, but we're still gonna go because it's unpredictable. It doesn't make sense. That's why we're gonna do it. Does that make sense to you?
yeah,
Right. So,
yeah.
but to kind of justify after 1 round isn't good enough for me. If it was like 3 rounds in a row minimum, okay, I can understand. But one, it's not enough.
Yeah.
So we still need to be vigilant, right? Because what if they made that thought process where like, oh, we got shit on the second round, round two, let's go A again. They might even believe that we're not gonna go, and they're gonna go stack C and B. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of theory crafting here, but that's why I would like to be more general about it. Where like it's probably better to fight for this like 3 times, and then realize, oh, they don't really come A. Okay, maybe I'll just play here, or Raze can play. Raze can satchel Rubble.
Right
I
here.
will smoke for him. He'll control all of A by being here, right? Won't he? And there's a smoke, nothing's happening, and then everybody starts stacking B and C. And then obviously you need to incorporate your IGLing skills to set that up, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't let things happen by itself, because if you do that, nobody's on the same page. It's just a free flow of utter just chaos that's gonna happen in the future. Maybe not in this game, but in the future when you're playing with worse players than you had on your team. Because I'm gonna be honest, your teammates were pretty good. They're all
Yeah. My teammates are
communicating.
good.
They
My
were
mates were good. Yeah.
all coordinated, pretty synergized, right? But we
Yeah.
gotta kind of count for when it's not gonna be perfect. Because I'm gonna be honest, like even though it was a close game, your team was pretty good. Like they were like eight
Yeah,
out
my
of
team was good.
yeah, they
My
were
team
like
was
8 out
good.
of 10. They were all kind of like playing together. Nobody was tilted griefing, right? So,
Yeah, we
uh,
were in a unit. Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I'm saying, I would like that you to kind of be more on top of that for a future reference. It's a
Yeah.
skill tool you've developed where maybe some games you don't need it. Everyone's playing perfectly like this game. Other people, other IGLs are calling. Okay, but there's gonna be a lot of fucking games of Valorant where nobody's talking, nobody wants to think or do anything. And you got to kind
Yeah.
of build this up for those times. And also, one thing to take away, IGLing will help you win. People don't believe it. Okay, I even asked Daniel, his name's Daniel Lanad Halim, on the interview, and I asked him, I'm like, can IGLing kind of get you to Radiant without the mechanics? I even asked him the hypothetical question: can somebody IGL not shoot and help win? Or even climb to Radiant. And he said, yeah, I can understand that. It makes sense. It's objective. Look at Boaster, right? Look at FNS. Those guys are not necessarily, I'm not saying they don't shoot, but they're not necessarily mechanical players. They're all brain. They set up their team. They might not set up themselves, but they set up their team, right? And there's
Yeah.
value in that. right? We got to be objective. There's value in that. We can't not say. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying some people do. Some people are, blah, 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 blah. Right, bro. There's value in there, and people will respect you as well if you are the brains of the team. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Don't
Yeah,
you respect
agree.
guys that are like making calls are like 80, 90%? You just follow him around. You just wait for it to tell you what to do. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
listen to him. You want to talk to him. You want to probably learn from him, right? So what I'm saying is I want you to be that guy. Him.
Hmm.
Right? Does that make sense? And you will.
Yeah.
Really believe you have that potential. So that's that. Let's move on. Okay. You don't have any questions. So the next note
No.
is still in communication. The next thing is needs to communicate what is clear and what he has control of. I don't need this 5 times a game. I need this fucking every time. Okay. And this note came from here when I was like, go clear rubble, go clear rubble. You went to clear rubble, didn't say anything, right? And a lot of people can argue, oh, well, yeah, won't they know? How do you know that? Rounds are hectic. They're looking at their own POV, trying to clear. The chamber was up here, right? It's a mental checklist for them where you say, yo, rubble's clear. They don't need to worry, think, or feel like it's somebody's there. Automatically, they know
Hmm.
you got their back. Does that make sense? It's a
Yes.
mental synergy thing. And this is where we get team edge. Maybe not individual edge, but this is kind of setting our teammates up to trust us, to believe we're good communicators. So that way, when we make a call later down the line, they will listen. Okay, it starts there when you feed really high level information like that. Yo, nothing here. Okay, start going breakable. It just creates that team edge there. And I can give you a simple example where, let's say your team perfectly talking like in this, everybody's communicating what they see, what they've cleared, and then there's a team, where only 3 out of 5 are doing, and if they played against each other in the long term, over 10,000 rounds, 10,000 games, who would win in terms of that?
The team that has the edge.
Right, which is
Like that
5
edge.
players completely, absolutely got each other's back versus 3 out of 5. And obviously, I
Yeah.
understand too that the team with 3 out of 5 can still win in the short term, but in the long term, in VCT, those teams won't win. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
that's edge. That is to really help win. So we got to think long term and also percentage, or at least helping our team or yourself to win in the long term. 60%, 70%, right? We're winning way more than we're losing. It's not 50-50. It's not even, right? So that's something I'd like you to start thinking about, especially, and I have to be hard on you on this note because you're immortal. There's no excuses. We need
Yeah.
every edge possible in this elo. Why? Self-explanatory. Everybody else is good. We're not in a diamond elo where 2 out of 10 players are good and everybody else is dog shit. Everybody's aware. Everybody can shoot. Everybody understands the map, how people can move. No? And so we need
Yeah. Yeah.
every edge possible. That's how I look at it, at least. So that's how I would like you to look at it as well. Because it's not an edge that's calculatable. It's not very like on paper edge, right? Like, oh, this guy's so much better than me with calling, or his mechanics is 5%, but it's more of a hidden edge that is many people don't look at. But that's how I look at it because I've been an athlete and I've experienced where I face a team in American football where their mental is chalked and we just destroy them, even though we may not be mechanically fundamentally better, faster than them. We're just all one unit, synergized, on the same page, believe in each other, have each other's back, right? You can use any
Yeah.
sport, for example. So that's that. Let's move on. Any questions with this note? Communicate what
No.
is clear and what he has control of. We can look at it defensively too. Even when you're here by yourself, yo, guys, nothing, amen, absolutely nothing, right? Confirm with them because then these guys here will be like, okay, Cloves telling me that it's clear, nothing. I'm gonna trust him. We can just stack B and C now. That makes sense, right? Logically, maybe we can even
Yeah.
just go C because this guy walked down. One guy's like, yo, nothing mid, and it's like, boom, easy, no brainer, all C main. Or you could even walk down here, right? So that's that.
Yeah.
We'll move on. The next note is he's not making any calls, especially pre-round on A. I would like, I would I would call for them to fight for A every round. Also get better at mid-round, late round calling. So we kind of touched on this, okay? I even agree with what you said. And that falls under something we're going to talk about later, which is tendencies and frequencies. If we realize, let's say for example, first 3 rounds we've called to fight A, 4 rounds, 5 rounds we've called to fight A every time, and we're expending 3 people here, and then they're not coming anymore. Great. Now we can say, guys, let's just get Raze over there. We'll throw one-way smoke for him to hold, and then we all lean towards BC start of the round, not start here 3 then rotate off like you guys kind of were doing on round 5 and 6, right? So I would like you to kind of sorry, I agree with what you're saying there. We're like, oh, if they kind of go C heavy a lot, we can kind of be more passive about it. Yep, right. But still, me as a player, I want control. I don't want to give them things for free. And by kind of you sitting here, because there was only one time where Raze went here and then you threw a smoke and you were here. But the other times you were alone, no? So
Yeah.
there still needs to be control by you being here. And so I do believe on top of this note, your positioning was too passive. You're not doing anything here. What are you doing here? What are you holding? What are you seeing? What can you confirm? Absolutely nothing, right? Can we confirm, see, hear things here? No? Yes or no? That's a question.
No, not at the bottom. No, no.
No. We can't hear, but can we in stairs? Can we see
Yeah,
or
we can
know?
see in
Yeah,
stairs.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that's my thing. That's my question. That was that. Yeah, we can. And think about how small of a distance this is, but it makes all the difference. No, you were here,
Right here.
and if you just
Right
went here,
here.
you see, we have control.
yeah,
Even if maybe you're not aggressively controlling it, and you that could be also another option where you aggressively control it, like leaving a raise here, or you making a play barriers here. You walk down and then you go breakable, and you stay here on an off angle, or maybe you walk to rubble all the way. Whatever, we can theory craft all day, right? But I would like on top of this note to for you to kind of understand to maintain, control, account for space. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
that's that. And then also, we went through the kind of like go A everything. Okay, good. And then the second point of this note was that I told the chat when you went away briefly. I told him he never made a call mid round or late round. When did you ever say, "Yo, let's group up, let's go here. Wait, we need to rotate, leave, stay there"? Never. Well, I shouldn't say never. It was very rare. Okay, and
Yeah, right, yeah.
I even said he didn't make a call until the end of the game, right? Where
Yeah.
you were like go B, go B. Remember that time where you smoked? You're like go.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
late
yeah.
round call. It was 2v2, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a 2v2, right?
It
With the
was, yeah, and
Reyna and the
then the
Chamber, and
guys selected one
it
and
was the
B. Yeah,
Gecko
yeah,
and the Raze on your team alive, right? And you're like go
yeah,
B, go. That's a late round call, and that's something I would like you to do more. Maybe not 12 out of 12 rounds on that half, but good 7, 8, a majority, more than 6, less than maybe 10, because you're not going to make that call
yeah,
every time, right? But when you can identify it's a good play, even if you're dead, make it, because
yeah,
you know how it is. Okay, people get scared in those moments. They don't know what to do in 2v2. There's pressure on them, right? Especially you as well. Okay, I'm sure you've experienced it. And so it's good to kind of push them a little bit. And as you develop yourself as an IGL by making mistakes, making the wrong call, thinking about certain things, studying the game, getting your game sense up, it will get better where your late round call, mid round call is instant and also 80% accurate, as in gonna be 80% to help win the round. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
something, just some food for thought, right? But it's important, so start developing it. And I always a lot of students ask, how do I get it better? I tell them, make the wrong call, make mistakes, lose off of it, because you're gonna sit there and take accountability, or I hope you do, and take responsibility and say, I fucked up, that call was a game losing call, what should I have done better, what was the scenario, let me replay that round, right? And this is what
mm,
pros do. This is how they get to that level. They don't get to that level by just AFK shooting every game. They actively think, what went wrong? What do I need to do where this will never happen again? And then they apply it. They make sure they fixed it. Okay? So that's how you'll get better at mid round calling, late round calling. All right. Any questions
yeah.
with this note?
No.
Good. Let's move on. The next thing is still in communication. Feed info about enemy positioning, especially if he's the one that knows. So we kind of touched on this, right? You killed this guy, 3v2. You killed this guy. And then I called for you because I knew Chamber was always C. I'm like, C player, he's coming late, remember? He dies, and then the Clove ults. These guys don't know. Yes, maybe they have saw it on the minimap, but we have to assume they don't know. That's how you have to look at it.
Yeah.
They might know, but you have to assume they don't know. That's how you have to treat feeding information that they don't know. Even if they know, you need to call it because they'll be on the same page. They'll get that information quicker than they need to look. Do you understand? Even if it's milliseconds, that makes all the difference. Look at VCT games. It's fucking milliseconds, right? So where they need to gather information. So that's why I would like you to call that information. Yo, last one, Clove. You need to constantly look at your player count too, and who is alive. Like you can't see my crosshair. I'm
Yeah.
pinging. I'm pinging. I'm putting my crosshair where the player icons are. Okay, the green and the red. Where you constantly
Yeah.
looking, and then make sure. Last one there. Last one was C. Okay, Clove ulted. Clove's ulting. Drop. He's drop. He's drop. Right? It goes a long way. Trust me. It might seem silly. It does to a lot of people. But if you kind of work on this, people will respect you. Like, yo, really good communication. Thank you for calling that. I didn't know. You'll get that a lot. I get that a lot. Okay, so um, I would like you to. It's just a little food for thought. We kind of touched on it too. That's all. Okay. Any
Yeah.
questions with this?
No, no.
And we can also put it on defensively. I know we got it from an attack, but we can get it from a defensively where, let's say for example, I'm gonna give you a non-specific example from your game, so it's not from your game. Okay, just an example, simple example. Let's say you're here passively playing A because they went C a lot, and you're the stairs guy, and you're like, wait. 1A, you see one guy, or he throws a piece of utility. It's like a Sova or like a Fade Eye or like whatever. One piece of utility, confirm one guy. There's a teammate B, and he's like, "Yo, I hear one B." And then there's your chamber is on C trying to make this peak, and he sees two. Okay, what is that? What can we identify off this information? There's one A, one B, two C main.
1A, 1B with 2C main.
Yep. What is that generally? What are they doing? It's very important.
Well,
to
it's like
know.
it's like a default. It's
Right.
like a default.
Correct. But okay, I shouldn't say but what kind of contributes to us identifying, pinpointing what the enemies are is each individual information, right? By you telling
Yeah.
them 1A and then your teammate reciprocating that type of skill and saying 1B, same on C, we identify as a team, it's default. No? And me,
Yeah.
I'm a player where I instantly identify what the enemies are doing. Instant. It's literally milliseconds for me. I'm at that level. And I'm not saying I'm a pro, okay, but I built it to that level where it's instant either through my information, the minimap, or teammates' information. Right? If I were to ask you, yo, wouldn't you want your teammate to tell you if there's one guy, two guys there, even if you're far away? You would say yes. And so you got to think about it that way as well, where you got to give it how you want it. I know it sounds very no homo, but you know what I'm saying? So I hope that makes sense to you because, you know, it's important. It's very small, but this is where we get our team edge. And then not only we get team edge, but we can also identify what the enemies are doing. In in Valorant, that is really crucial that we can identify exactly what they're doing immediately, what their concept they're using, start of the round, and then start finding solutions, adjustments, plays, plans on top of that. Whether that's a like maybe start of the we identify and then start developing that, or it's a mid round call or a late round call. Does that make sense? It all adds up.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really important that you tell them, and that's the defensive side. Attack side is just pure information that we kind of need to know where they are so people don't die running out, stuff like that, right? Count for each player. Okay, so let's move on. Aim. This category is really small. Okay, it's two notes. No, we're not breaking nothing now. Sheriff aim is really good. I noticed that in EU, through my experience, subjectively through watching VCT, EU always has such good sheriff aim. I don't know what it is with the region. Maybe they just
So
practice sheriff all the time. I'm not sure. Okay, but it was really good. This round here, maybe
yeah, yeah.
when we look back on the score, it's kind of being like what's the word I'm looking for? We're hindsighted, but um, you know maybe you getting this round helped us win the game, right? Because what was the score? It was pretty close. It's not like it was a stomp, right? At
It
one
was
point,
12-9, I think, something
right?
like that.
But at one point it was tied. No, it was like eight
Yeah,
nine
tied. Yeah,
eight
yeah.
eight
It
eight
was like
some
6-6. So
right.
I think it's 6-6
No,
even.
no, I
Yeah.
think it was a 7-5 half, and then they
Oh,
tied
seven
it. They
five.
they
Yeah.
tied it up, right? And then it was
Yeah, seven
close. It was
seven.
close
Yeah.
for the next 3 4 rounds, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
um, that's why I'm saying the sheriff aim was good because you helped win 2 rounds, right, instead of one. Because we
Yeah.
lost pistol, it's 1-0 for it's 0-1 for them. We won the eco. Now it's 1-1, and then they have to save. We automatically get the free one in quotations, right? It's not free, but easy one, right? But
Should
if
be.
you
Yeah.
didn't, it's 0-2. Then we're gonna have a fragile economy. If we lose, we gotta save again, and it snowballs in their direction, right? So I
Yeah.
thought that was really good that you came up clutch here. That was big in my eyes. Okay, aim is good as well. I think you're also instantly deleting people with your Phantom, your Vandal, Phantom, whatever you were playing. Okay, so nothing too crazy there. But what I can say though is that the problem doesn't lie with aim, or at least that's what I saw in this one game. I know it's one game, but the
Yeah.
problem really was on the movement and your
Mm.
understanding of how to peak. That's it. Okay, so it's a little fundamental knowledge, and then also your movement mechanic, fighting mechanics, right? So that's something I would
Yeah.
like you to focus on. All right, let's move on. Any questions with these on aim? That's it. That's literally all I had. I had nothing bad to say. What am I gonna write? So right. So anything? Any?
Um. No. I definitely like focused the probably focused the most on my aim. So it's like good that it's
Right.
like
And
smallest category, I guess. So yeah.
we'll just kind of briefly talk about this. But I asked the rating guy, Daniel. I said I would suggest you watch it, but you don't want to go pro, so it's not as important. Those that say they want to go pro, I force them to watch it. I said, if you want to go pro, you need to watch this video because he was pro. You can get in the mind of, you know, how he's thinking, what the process was like, the whole shebang, right? But you don't want to go pro, so you
Yeah.
don't have to. Still, would definitely recommend it if you want to get good, become a Radiant player. Okay, but
Yeah.
he talks about. I specifically asked him, mechanics versus game sense. What gets capped? What is uncapped to some degree at the highest level? We're talking the pro level, not average Immortal lobbies. Okay, at the top. And you know what he said? And we both agreed on. And I specifically asked him that question because I knew already that mechanics get capped to some degree, to a big degree. Okay, game sense is the discipline, the two disciplines, the one out of the two disciplines that won't get capped. It's the skill ceiling in game sense is fucking through the roof.
Mm.
You can be a god mode map hacker type player, never die, always know where they are. But with aim, it falls off. Look at Demon One. He's the best aimer in NA, considered he won a champions, and look at him now. He's struggling. Look at Aspas. He's considered one of the best aimers in the world. Still does well aiming, still losing games. No?
Mm.
So aiming is not what gets you kills or yeah, even that. Aiming is not what really makes a player. That's what you have to understand. It's game sense. Even with kills, yes, mechanics are the ones that execute the kills, but actually game sense is what gets you them, no? You flank, kill three, you put yourself in a good position, you anticipate, you use tendencies and frequencies and know where they play, where they're gonna be on a corner angle. They played it 5 times and you kill them, right? Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't, you gotta let me know. I gotta make sure it makes sense. But
No, it
um,
makes sense. Makes
um,
sense.
that's what I'd like you to understand. You are in the elo where aim doesn't matter anymore because everybody's on the same level of aiming. No, everyone can instant delete. Everyone has pretty snappy, good mouse control. Okay, it's the brain, the game sense, decision making, communication that's really gonna separate you to being right now Immortal to Immortal, true Immortal 3. I'm not saying rank Immortal 3. There's a big difference. A lot of people think, oh, I'm this rank, so I'm this skill. Wrong. Okay, true skill, absolute skill where you does not matter. You get an account from Iron, you can get to Immortal in 1 week. That's true skill. Not you got there one time, you can't get back there. That's not true skill to me. Okay, so
Mm.
that's what I like to start thinking about. Game sense. You need to polish this because that's your biggest weakness, right? So one of your weaknesses. So that's that. Okay, let's move on. Utility usage. I think this is also very weak by you. Okay, not in terms of smokes, other things. Okay. First note is tell his teammates he can smoke for him and smoke bomb off in a 1v1 clutch situation. This is utility usage and game sense combined. And before I start, this is usually what I say. I forgot to say it, but all these categories we're talking about, right? They're not individual skills. They are, but they need to be put together where they work in unison. Do you understand? because there's gonna be some rounds where you use aim plus your utility usage, but maybe aim plus some rounds it's gonna be aim and positioning and your communication, or game sense and your aim strictly, or game sense and only positioning, whatever, utility usage and only game sense. It's all, the combinations are endless, but they all work in harmony. The best players in this game are able to use all these skills all the time together whenever they need it. Okay, so that's something I'd like you to say. Don't just focus on, okay, this. It's got to be all on the same level. If your aim right now, let's say objectively it's 8 out of 10 for this level, okay, and you know your utility usage, communication is like a 6, 5 out of 10, it's not good. Everything needs to be on the same level, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, or higher. Okay, and as well with aim, if your aim is 10 out of 10 and all these categories are 5 out of 10, what do you think is gonna happen? Is your aim gonna be? Are you gonna be killing everybody? No, your aim will
No.
also drop. The mechanical side will drop because it's limited with all these other categories. If your positioning is bad and your aim's 10 out of 10, you're gonna die a lot. No, you have no game
Mm.
sense. You don't know where to go. You don't know how to move. You're still gonna die. Aim doesn't matter at that point, and that's why I tell you, aim is not important. But on top of the note, make sure these categories. I always tell my students, all these other categories, 4 out of the 5 categories besides aim, need to be higher than your aim. And if you do that, you will become a really, really, really good player. And it's objective. Look at a lot of players that get to Radiant and their aim isn't the best, but they have other skills that let them get there. Their brain. There's obviously players that are just mechanic. Well, in my mind, not really. There's not many players that are just mechanically good to be Radiant. No, you need brain. You need to be good at decision making, processing information, and being super elite in that mind aspect. Okay, so but yeah, that's that. So the next thing, so in this scenario, remember, I think it was the first round, the pistol, right?
This first round, I
Yeah.
think basically I agree with you. I definitely got I was gonna like I wanted to sight smoke. That was like my
Where?
thought process while I was
Where?
sitting in the like on the left of
Uh,
when you like no, sorry. It kind of like goes in the corner of this.
Here?
No, left. Yeah, like but before we executed, if that makes sense. But I didn't have it up, and I kind of forgot about it.
Oh, like over here you're talking about?
No, like literally where you're standing.
Oh, right here.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Because
Like
it like yeah.
in that
I like the
1v1, or
smoke.
when you guys
No,
are
no,
going,
no.
when
Just
you guys are
before we were
going.
gonna execute.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I think your smokes were fine. You just smoked water and then here. But what I'm saying is in the 1v1
Oh no,
when you're dead.
no. Like on the like first round defense. I was sitting in sitting
Your spawn.
with I think
Chamber.
yeah.
Chamber.
Like we came to here
Yep.
sitting in a smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were about to execute.
And then you
I didn't
died.
have my smoke. Yeah, I didn't have my smoke because I would have smoked on the. I would have smoked for the site
Yep, yep,
for
yep.
the
Yep, yep,
retake if
yep,
that
yep,
makes
yep.
sense. But
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
no.
have it
Yeah,
up.
that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
That's not what I'm talking about.
yeah,
I'm talking about when it became 1v1. I'm not talking about when
yeah,
you were
yeah.
alive or when they were retaking. I'm talking about when it became 1v1. I'm pretty sure it was the Gecko on your team that was alive, right? Versus the Clove.
Yeah,
Uh,
he tried to jump on the top
yeah,
of the
he
thing.
went
Yeah,
this way. That's why I went this way. And then he died. And then remember, everybody was like, "Wait, what the fuck? Where is he?" And he went here, and the guy was right here, and you killed him. Remember that?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what I'm saying is that as he was coming here, you should have been like, "Yo, I'm gonna smoke the bomb." You shouldn't even tell him that. Obviously, like that's good too. But me, I just smoked the bomb from him, and I tell him, "Yo, I'm smoking the bomb." Or you could tell him before. Like you could go both ways. You could throw it down and then tell him, or then tell him and then throw it down. But um,
Yeah.
like I don't know about EU if they do this much, but in NA, this is like super strong. Because think about
Oh,
it.
I mean, of course, yeah.
Right, like
I
it's
think
just
like,
like
and
logically makes
I
sense.
do usually. I mean, like 90% of the time, I do smoke the bomb.
Right,
But
right.
I also didn't want to give because he was playing. If it makes sense, he was playing for the jump up, which I thought was actually a good play. I don't want to
Yeah.
give the enemy like the pocket in the smoke, if that
Sure.
makes sense. Like
But but
I
but
kind of wanted to give him the fight.
sure, but I'm gonna be honest. Him playing in here is better than him making this play. No,
Yeah, yeah.
because then he's
I
got
agree. I
like
do. I think it's like
what other options does he have when he goes here besides go here and kill him? That's it.
yeah,
But when he goes here and the bomb is smoked, he has a plethora of options. He can stick the bomb. He can get it half and get off. He can tap it and wait for him. No? There's like more than one
Yeah, yeah.
option. But when he goes here, it's
Agree.
literally just go here, okay, and then it's just like I gotta go kill him. That's it. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
But here, there's multiple options where he can get creative. He can outplay. That's the key word, outplay. There's not much outplay here besides, the guy doesn't know.
Just
That's it.
aiming him, yeah.
But this guy knew. He fucking was ready for that, right? So that's why
I almost can't believe he was ready for it, but anyway.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
yeah,
agree.
it's all kind of situation. Me too. I couldn't really believe it too. I thought he was gonna be here as well, but I think the more high level option is yo, I'm gonna smoke it for you. Smoke it.
Peeking.
I wouldn't do a full
I agree.
this. I wouldn't do
Dropped in a
this.
storm.
Yeah, yeah, no,
This
your
is
smoke's
bad.
better.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like
Your smoke's
keep it
better.
like where it's
No
like
peeking.
a
Yeah, on the edge,
sliver.
yeah.
So this guy comes here and he's just fucking freaking out. He just doesn't know. Like, let's wait for the smoke to go away. He's like, is he on the bomb or not? Right? He's just freaking out. He
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
make, and a lot of the times they're gonna go in, and this guy, and if he's smart enough, he's gonna wait. Let's say he even got a half or whatever. We're kind of theory crafting, but I think this play might be a little bit better. Okay, maybe not.
I kind of like slipping out the right and going for a swing. That would be me, but
Sure,
I
yeah,
think like the
yeah.
half
Like
play's better.
if
Yeah.
you even if you smoked it like tight, like really like more towards the bomb, and then he could have made this play. Maybe this guy,
Yeah.
was thinking, oh, he's not gonna stick it. He's just waiting here, and then your gecko comes out like this, right? But we gotta leave that up
Yeah.
to him whether the result is good or bad. But we need to let him get there, right? Does that make sense? By
Yeah.
putting the smoke
yeah.
down, telling him, yo, I'm gonna smoke for you. That's all. Right,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying. I was gonna say I don't think this plays fucking 100 times better, but it's only like a 5-10% better. But that's where we get edge. We need to stack these 10, 5, 20% better type plays because it's gonna add up in the long term,
Yeah.
right? So that's how I look at it. I look at it in a very statistical probability mind where we need to make sure we're giving our team or ourselves the highest chance type plays all the time, consistently, and then that'll add up where we win all the time, rounds and then games. And then if we win games like that, we're gonna get RR, and if we get RR, we're gonna climb. It all adds up. People don't understand, right? So that's how I like you to look at it. That's all. Okay. Any questions with this?
No.
Okay, that's it. We'll move on. Okay, this note, you're gonna kind of laugh at yourself. Okay, a little bit. He doesn't use the K enough, and I should have wrote he
I
doesn't
don't
use
use it.
the K at
I
all.
didn't throw it once.
That should I
throw
what
a
are,
single
that
time.
yeah, I know, and I should have wrote that he doesn't use the K at all. And if I were to ask you the question, how many times you use the K, you already know 0. It's a fat goose egg. Nada. And you know what I generally and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Uh, it's a problem because you're mortal. If you're like ascendant, diamond, silver, I'm like, okay, you're learning the game. You're a noob, whatever. You're a mortal. You're the 0.5% of this game, right? And so you need to have a high standard for yourself where you are so good. This note should never come out. Obviously, I'm gonna help you. So, usually, what I tell my students will ask, oh well, how do I get better at kind of using it? Then I initially tell them, if you're not using it at all, get used to just fucking throwing it in a corner and wasting it. Obviously, that's an over exaggeration. I don't want you to throw it in a corner and waste it. But by you practicing just pulling it out and throwing it in a corner, maybe the first 2 times you do it, at least you get what? Better at pulling it out and getting comfortable with using it, no? And then it will evolve to
Yeah.
where you just throw it. Even if you don't feel like it'll do anything, just throw it somewhere. Okay, then it evolves to, okay, I start kind of wanting to use it in places where it makes sense. I'm on the retake. I know there's a lot bend. I'm gonna throw a bend. Okay, they might be A main or over here on this side lower, right? Right. If I'm water, okay, I'm just gonna chuck it bend. Then it evolves to where, okay, you're gonna start thinking about what information is provided to you at hand and using it to gain value. For example, if you're water and you're coming and your teammate died and he saw one bend, where should we throw it?
Straight ahead, baby.
Right, straight out where we kind of last saw him, right? We're going to hope that it's going to hit him and there's going to be some value where it hits him and it's easier to kill him, or he's going to back up and he gets in a worse position. We're flooding out and we kill him. Or it might buy us time. No? So
Yeah.
you'll develop it that way, and that's why it's a joke when I tell students, throw it in the fucking air is better than what you're doing. I usually what I scream out. Okay? But you're going to understand how to use this to some degree because don't you play against it? Don't cloves use it against you? The answer should the answer
Yes
should be
and no. I feel
yes.
like, but I
No,
think better clothes do.
right?
But
But
I also like,
generally, not
yeah.
subjectively. Generally, won't you be playing against
I'll say like
Clovo?
50-50. I'll say 50-50. I'll say 50-50. But
Sure.
yeah, you should use it.
In my eyes, I'm playing against any type of piece of utility all the time because I'm playing against good players. I don't know how it is in EU too much, okay? But that's how I look at it. So, and that's how you should think too. Like, oh, I know how to use it because I've been used on by that piece of utility this many X many times. Even 5 times is enough for you to understand. Okay, this is how a good clove uses it. You need to be critical in that thinking there. Okay, but
Yeah.
um, gotta use this, bro. Like, just fucking chuck it somewhere on the retake. Start of the, they're making a lot of noise.
I
You
like
smoke
I know
throws.
like where I know where like let's say I hit
Yeah,
you throw it like you hit like the as you're coming in on this side you throw it like against the left wall kind of thing and then it gets to like back pillar. You
yeah,
can throw it there. You can throw it like yeah right there. That's like usually what I go for. But to be
right.
honest, I get a bit lazy. That's kind of why I
Yeah,
don't
but
do it. I know that's a really bad
It
answer,
it
but
is it is it,
I just get
it's
really
a
lazy with
terrible
it.
answer.
I know,
If
I
there's
know.
other students that are like stuck in like lower ranks watching this, they'll be like, "What the fuck? This guy doesn't even use his utility, right?" And
I just get lazy with it. But like,
yeah,
okay, like I think there's a few situations as well. I completely agree with you. I don't
mm-hmm,
disagree with the point.
yep.
I think there's a few situations where like I prioritize my own spacing and
Your POV, you're
um
scared.
yeah
You're scared to get
as
off your
opposed to
gun.
yeah that kind of thing.
That
And also like
yeah, go
let's
ahead.
say like I'm retaking,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like I know you can throw it quite easily, but I don't want to
Yep.
give away my position as well, if that makes sense. Like, there, don't get me wrong, I'm
Okay.
definitely
I can
way too far on the side of like
right.
not throwing it. I
Okay,
need to
I can
implement it more.
understand that point, but I have an argument. It's like when it's post plant, because you said retake. When it's post
Yeah,
plant,
yeah.
where do they think you are coming from?
I mean, well, one of two options, right? But I
Right,
mean, technically one of three, but it's gonna be with
right.
Clove
We're,
one
we're
of
gonna
two,
we're gonna
really.
cancel out the flank, so it's
Yeah, yeah,
two options.
yeah,
So it doesn't matter if they know you are there or not. They will assume you guys are coming from there already.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of like an invalid argument by you saying I don't want to give away my
I get what you're
position.
saying. No, no,
Right,
no, no. I
right.
agree.
So
I mean more like I guess like not retake. It's more let's say I'm playing like fast rotate B and I
okay,
make it to C before they've hit, if that makes
right,
sense. Like
right.
you can definitely throw it in that situation
Mhm.
before they hit, but
Right.
I prefer to like get onto the site and kind of like get like a position where
But
they execute.
even then, okay, whether you walk here or run here, and I'll put you in their shoes. Okay, let's say you're here. You say you're the B player, fast rotating C, right? That's your example,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Let's say we're here as it just kind of try to visualize it with me. We're here as 5, 4, whatever, 3. Okay, we're as a team, most of the team. And if we go in and start entering, or we killed somebody to let us entry, or we just go in, we force ourselves in, okay, and then we get here, what are we thinking? What's the first thought process once we clear band and we're here? Or even before that? Just generally.
Well, I mean either clear back site or plan, depending on who you are,
Sure.
I suppose.
I'll put in this. We cleared everything. We cleared the whole site. What is
Okay,
the
okay.
next stop process? Super
Well, plan
simple.
the bomb.
Look, no, no. Like we got on site. We plant the bomb. We start clearing. The
Okay,
whole site is
plan the
clear.
bomb.
What is the next stop process?
Uh, well, get ready for flooders or
Right.
defenders, that
From
kind of thing.
where?
Well, in this case, water back and I
Right.
forget what's the left called?
Spawn. Spawn.
Oh yeah,
We
whatever. Yeah,
call it
yeah.
spawn. That's what we say in
Uh,
NA. We just
Even
call it
whatever.
spawn. So you could call it CT. But
I forget what it's called. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a call. In NA we just a hall. I think they call it
A
hall. Right.
hall. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But so coming back to my point, I asked, well, after we get in, we entry and scale, we clear the site, we get the bomb down. What's our next thought process as an attacking team? Is to, and you answered it correctly, is to kind of look for the floods, people coming in, right? And I asked where, and you answered correctly, water and spawn. Bro, they don't need to know where you are. They're gonna assume you are here already. Do you
Yeah.
understand? Do you understand that point? Does that make sense
Yeah. No,
logically?
I get
Because
it. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
you're saying, well, I'm gonna run here and throw, so I don't want the. Whether you throw this decay here or not, they will assume automatically people are coming from here or somebody is there. Good players might even
Yeah.
assume somebody's already there. That's key. They might not assume somebody's on the way, but good players are like, yo, be careful, water, spawn. They're not gonna push this unless whatever they have a read, they've gotten info, they've killed the guy here, they want to make a play aggressively. We'll look past that because that's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on that. Your argument is that you don't want to be seen or heard, but it doesn't matter. They know or assume that either you're on the way or there already. So if that's the case, you might as well throw this and use it. Why? There's a reason. Is it of value when you know they're running in and you time it perfectly where it goes like this and they get hit by it, or they don't want to get hit by it, so they start backing up?
Yeah. Of
Is
course,
that
it's like very useful.
it's a value? And think about what decay does. What does decay do in terms of debuff?
Puts them on 1 HP basically.
And is that of value to kill them faster because it only takes one bullet?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Right.
you could just like pre-aim spray.
Exactly. You could
Or,
even
like,
just
pre-fire.
take your classic out and just right click them and they're
Just
dead
right click. Yeah.
through some
Yeah.
random smoke because they got hit by it. And I get a lot of kills. I'm a Clove player too. I'm a Smokes main as well originally. That's the first role I got to Immortal 1 and Immortal 3. That's the first role I got to Immortal 3 with was Smokes. Okay? And then I turned into a okay, before that I was a Sentinel. Before I hit Immortal, I was like stuck diamond a Sentinel, and then I switched to Smokes, got to Immortal 3, then I turned into a Duelist player because I wanted to be all fancy and shit on drop 40 every game. Okay, but there's value in this when you can time it properly. Okay, maybe I should put it like that. Not just using it. There's no value in just using it, but
Yeah.
you need to time it properly, obviously. And I'll be
Yeah,
honest with you.
that's the. I think that's the good point. Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I was the same in the beginning when episode 5, no, episode like 3, 4, when I was leading up to my peak play mechanic fundamentals. Um, I was the same. Trust me. I struggled to not only know where to put it, but how to time it properly. For example, I'm the C player. It's a simple example. They're just coming to C, right? Running it down C. Like I would just throw it early, like just to stop them. It wouldn't even hit them. But as I got better at understanding, wait, I'm throwing it too early. It's no value. It's not really doing anything but stopping them. I want to stop them and apply the debuff. I started kind of thinking about that and worked on the timing and really be patient and kind of hear noise and anticipate, use feeling involved and the past experiences as well. Does that make sense? So I
Yeah.
understand. It's hard. It's scary. I had those feelings too. I said the same thing, believe it or not, where I'm like, because my friends used to tell me, yo, why do you not use any utility besides smokes? And I'd be like, yo, I'm too scared. I don't want to get off my gun because one time I got off to do this and the guy just killed me. And then I subjectively said, oh my God, if I take my utility, I'm going to die. Right? But that's wrong. You
Yeah.
got to be objective where if you don't use your utility, you're not playing a role. And you got to look at it like this. I look at it like this. Once I buy my utility, I need to make sure it's gone by the end of the round, whether I've wasted it, used it slightly where it's some little value or a lot of value. And obviously, your metal, your
Can't use
heal,
that.
we can't use it without a kill.
can't
So
use
there's gonna be
that.
some
Without a kill,
times where certain utility, we're not gonna be able to use it. Reyna stuff where you gotta kind of kill somebody.
Just
So
nice, yeah.
right, it's different. But if it is expendable at any time, any place, you need to use it by the end of the round. Whether you wasted it or it was max value, you fucking decayed 5 people, or you decayed 1, or it just stalled people. Do you understand my point? And
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
once you do that, it will make you better at it. And that's why I was telling you, yo, just fuck it in the beginning, throw it in a corner, doesn't matter. Okay, and then you're gonna start using it. You're gonna get better at being comfortable at bringing it out. That's what I said. Then you're gonna start using it to stop them. Then once that develops, you get better at stopping them. You're gonna want to start thinking, wait, I want maximum value with my utility. And if I were to ask you the question, do pros want maximum, you know, maximum value with their utility? What would you say? Simple answer is yes.
Yeah, of
Pros
course.
think like that, where they're like, I need maximum. And I'm sure you've seen Radiant streams where this guy will he'll be like, he knows they're coming, see, but he's just waiting for them to
Yeah.
actually come and then throw it. You've seen that, right, in Radiant streams, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's why they do that. It's because they want maximum value. They don't want little value. That's what decent players think about. The elite players want maximum. They want to decay 4, 5 people, not one. Okay, so I hope that logic kind of makes sense to you,
Yeah.
and can kind of help you move forward, because it's important you move forward. If you're stuck on not using it ever, and I'm not saying you are. There's a lot of students where they're like, they're just ego is so big, like, nah, I don't want to do it still, and they still don't do it. Even when I explain these things and break it down to them, obviously whatever reason that is, I don't know, and I don't really care because I know I can use it. I'm just trying to help the student, right, to become high level. So if you want to become high level, um, you need to kind of start thinking about utility in this way. And I trust me, I can really relate with what you said. Okay, where it's like, oh, I don't want to get off this POV. I don't want them to know where they are. But once you start understanding the game to a certain level, it just things just kind of make sense where I need to use it. Right. This
Yeah.
argument where, oh, I don't want them.
It's like
They're gonna know.
it's like a valid point,
Yeah.
but like the payoff is not.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
payoff
I
thing,
agree.
right? It's like
Yeah.
the payoff of the thing is higher than like
Exactly,
the
exactly. You
yeah
got it spot on. Like, I really love the way you think. I think you have logic. I don't think you're a super emotional person by us talking, right? But
yeah
you're correct. It's valid, super valid by you saying, "Yep, I don't want to be seen." Super valid. But there's no value,
yeah
right?
yeah
The thought process is valid, but in terms of objective value, production
yeah yeah
value, what you can do for the team, yourself, there's nothing. Do you
yeah
understand? So that's all.
yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Or I think how we talked about it was perfect. I think a lot of people can learn from this moment in time. Okay. So any more questions with this note?
No, no,
Okay.
makes sense.
So let's move on. Okay. The next one is needs to take orb to feed alt. This one will be a not extensive or anything. I'll try to break it down much quicker. I don't want to be stuck on this note. It's really self-explanatory. Needs to take orb to feed alt, especially if he's one off. Also, needs to understand he needs to be mega aggressive, and I wrote mega in all caps. Usually I don't write in all caps, but I write it in all caps when that's like a highlighted point that you really need to focus on. Okay, so mega, and I wrote also in all caps. So also needs to understand he needs to be mega aggressive when he has ult for the team. It doesn't matter if he dies. He will get info and they will trade, or at least you need to believe and trust that they will trade you. And I can kind of argue that you need to trust them because they're Immortal players. If you're an Iron lobby, okay, I'll be like, okay, maybe we can make an argument to start baiting and just let them go in first, even if you have ult, right? To save it in a 1v1 situation or something
Yeah,
like that, right? But you are in an elo where there needs to be some level of trust to understanding their capabilities of being able to trade you. And I believe that. Even if it's EU, NA, it does not matter. If you're Immortal, they probably get the general idea of how to trade, no? So, um, with that being said, I would like you to look at orbs, and I'll go through this with you quickly. What ways can we feed our alt? Let's pretend our alt has no, it's not full, it's not active. Okay, how can we fill it up? Which ways? There's 5 ways.
orb kills
Orb, kills,
plant.
plant, good. 2 more. Super
Uh,
simple. The opposites of what you said.
oh, death.
Death, last one. Super simple. Opposite of plant.
Oh, diffuse. Yeah, yeah.
Diffuse. There's 5. Right? And minus death, okay, is a kill of value. Is it valuable? Getting a kill.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Of course, right. Is planting the bomb of some value? Maybe not as big, but is it of
yeah.
value?
It's value.
Yeah, it's pretty valuable. Is defusing the bomb valuable? Whether you had a free defuse or 1v1 defuse, 2v1 2
Pretty valuable. Yeah,
pretty valuable. Right? Did I say all of them? Kills, deaths. Oh, sorry, kills, diffuses, plants, and the last one, which is orbs, picking them up. Is this a value of a kill
yeah.
in your mind? Yeah. And I
I
said
think it's
this.
I think the orb's valuable. Hella valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And I said
I
this with
think
a
like people fight over the orbs. It's
right.
valuable.
I said this with another Immortal student, which he was a Clove player as well, and he was doing the same thing as you, running past every orb, and then nobody was fighting for it on his team. Like it was his, you know what I mean? Like every round was his,
Yeah,
and he couldn't pick it up. And then I told him the same thing, where I'm like, okay, we can make a case where the orb is as valuable as the kill, right? And just how you said hella valuable, we can also make another case where it's even more valuable than a kill. Why? I'll explain it to you. Because it's free. Do we need to kill anybody to get it? No. We know exactly where it is at the start of the round, every round. The only thing we have to worry about with orbs is if somebody's gonna kill us while we pick it up, right? Like obviously our teammates have to cover us, or we gotta quickly do it. That's like the only concern with the orb. No.
Yeah.
So
Well, I bait it, but yeah.
right, but you get my point. Like we can theory craft
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it all day, but my point is that in my eyes, this is actually more valuable than a kill because of how accessible it is. It's free.
Yeah.
So coming to that note, you need to pick this. Like me, when I play, I literally hog this shit. Obviously, if a guy just picks it up before I can, there's nothing I can do. But usually, 70-80% of the time, when I say, yo, let me get the orb, let me get the orb, they give it to me. Right? Because they understand when I'm playing Killjoy, Clove, Fade, and this is not just a smokes player note. This should be a note when you play any agent with big ults. Fade, Breach, Vice, Clove, okay, Gecko, whatever,
I mean, I
KO.
like Jet. I like Jet a lot as
Yeah,
well.
even Jet. We can argue with Jet. Reyna, probably one agent we can argue that doesn't need it, right? Because she's
I
gonna.
actually like it though, but I wouldn't
Sure.
prioritize it. But if
But
they don't want it, I
right,
like it.
right. But like you said, you wouldn't prioritize it. The logic doesn't
Yeah,
really make sense. Where would we feed the
yeah,
Reyna
yeah.
the ult or the Breach? We're gonna give it to the Breach
No,
hands
no, no.
down, right? A
Yeah,
Clove, and obviously there's factors that come into play, which are how close they are to ult, right?
yeah,
If a
like 1 off, 9
right,
off. You know.
if Breach has 0-1 out of the 8 or whatever how many he needs, and then Reyna's 5 out of 6, and it's a 3v3, we're probably gonna give it to the Reyna, right?
Yeah,
So that will look past. But yeah, that's kind of how I would
in
like you.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would kind of how like you to look at that and
pick that
hog it
motherfucker
and
up more.
hog this shit.
Yeah,
Like literally tell them, yo, give me the orb at the start round. Give me it, give me it, give me it. And a lot of times people are not gonna say no, no, fuck you, unless they are like I told you, one off and they need it and it's a huge ult. Killjoy,
yeah.
Breach. Does that make sense? So,
Raise. Yeah, yeah,
right, and also another tip is the faster we use, faster we fill it up, and then the faster we can use it. What can
yeah.
we do?
More we get,
The more we
more the
get.
more odds you get. Yeah,
And this tip is like the difference between you using your ult 4 times a half versus two. And is four
yeah,
times using the ult of value or 2 times? Which one's more valuable? Four. It's just I don't
yeah,
even need that. You don't even need to answer. It could be rhetorical. It's just so common sense. You're a Immortal player. Well, you'll understand that, right? Four clove ults versus two clove ults. Bro, it's fucking hands. You can do way more. You can do so much shit. So
yeah,
that's that. Okay. The next part of this note is once you have your ult, run it fucking down. There was hesitation here. I had to push you a little bit mentally. I was like, bro, run, go, go, tell him you're gonna run it down. And you're like, guys, I'm gonna run it down. You're still standing here. I could tell, I could smell. You don't need to tell me. I knew you were uncomfortable with running it in. I could tell you
yeah.
haven't done that a lot. Okay, I'm not saying you're a
Because
bad player.
I'm the constant trader. Does that make
Right, right,
sense?
and that's fine. But
Yeah,
when you get your ult is where you have to kind of uh immediately shift that mind to flip the switch, if you may will. Okay, I don't have ult.
yeah,
I'm the trader. Play safe. Get my smokes. Okay, or and decay when they're going in on a proper spot. Like they start entering
Yeah,
on
got
attacking
it.
side. You're gonna use this too. You need to. Right, it's gonna section parts off as well. When they entry, you throw one
Yeah,
here right before they go in. What will this do? It will stall the guys in water. He's not gonna stand here AFK. He's gonna back up, right? And so that's that. But when you don't have ult, you become the trader, more passive, focus on your utility, throwing smokes down. When you have your ult, you need to flip the switch and understanding you become Jet Reyna. Okay, get your
yeah,
ult, and tell them. It's important you tell them because I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes when you go in and you don't tell them, they're not gonna follow up. They're not even gonna be aware. Sometimes people are bad, even Immortal players. Okay, so tell them, guys. Usually when I have ult, I tell them very very assertively. I tell them, guys, I'm gonna run it down. I'm gonna entry and scale. Follow me. And a lot of the times, 80-90% of the times, they're going to follow me. Okay, so that's that. Um, I forgot my and a part of that is As well, sorry. Part of this note was that it doesn't matter if you die. That's the main reason I'm telling you to be mega aggressive. And if I were to ask you a question, why does it matter to die? What would you say? Super simple.
Well, because I get traded,
Right.
and then
And
obviously I can ult.
and not that. The most important thing is that you gain information for them to trade you. For example, you come
Yeah,
out here because you're super mega aggressive, and let's say you didn't clear this or whatever. We can theory craft all day. Let's say you just died from this corner because you didn't clear it. I'm not saying you would, but let's just say you died. What will your teammates see? Let's freeze it. You're here, you're dead. Okay, your teammates are right behind you. What will they see on the minimap? Or no, through their
yeah,
POV stuff?
instant like player
Instant red question mark here. Or let's say they're not even looking at the minimap, they looking at the POV. Okay, they
just
just
shots. Yeah,
automatically know there's a guy shooting here with sound. The gun, there's a little bit glare on the guns, right? So boom,
yeah,
and then you pop your ult, and then you aggressively start fucking running it down, scaling, and then that helps take the site. You see how it's like a double value
yeah.
thing there? It's like you clear the site, they're gonna run away, they're not gonna fight you, because if they do, they're stupid, because you have good aim. If they fight you, you're gonna kill them, and then you're back alive, and now it's 5v3 instead of a 4v4. Does that make sense? So
Yeah, yeah,
um that's what this note means. Okay, we won't break it down further. I think you understand it. Any questions?
yeah. No, no, no.
That's
Understand.
it. That's it. Beautiful. You understand it. Great. Let's move on. Just try to apply this knowledge. I tell a lot of my students because there's a lot of reoccurring students. Like I get some students that do 2 sessions a week or 1 session a week, and I tell them apply. It's one thing to know what I'm telling you. Do it. And a
Yeah.
lot of them, 60%, obviously they're worse than you in terms of rank. They're sometimes diamond, ascended, plat players, so they don't really know how to apply like that or consistently still. But they show up and they still don't do it. And I have to, and I'm just nagging them, and it makes me look bad. But what I'm trying to say is that it's one thing to know, it's another to apply. Because if you can
Well, I
apply,
think like
yeah,
it's like really you're like doing this really well because like I already think like there's very easy applicable ones, which is like short
right,
term like wins, if that makes sense. So it's
yeah,
like pick up the orb,
right,
scale with the alts,
yeah. And there's gonna be harder
um,
ones, obviously, too, right?
like
Where,
throw the medal.
yeah, yeah,
And then the harder ones is definitely more around like the communication and
right,
like the eye
yeah,
gelling,
yeah.
which you'll have to work
Yeah,
on. But
and
yeah,
what I was gonna say is that once you apply, what that does, as in you have applied it correctly at least once or 3 or 4 times, where you're like, oh, awesome, I can do it. What do you think will happen? Do you get worse at it or better? Super simple.
I have to get better, right?
You get better at
I
it
hope.
because you,
I'd
right?
hope.
Well, okay, we're gonna assume
I mean,
you're a normal
yeah,
human being with a normal
a human
brain,
being.
and you
Yeah,
can
I'd
use
hope.
at least 10% of your
Yeah.
brain, right? That's
There'd
a
be a
joke,
little bit.
obviously.
There'll be
Right,
something wrong
and,
with me
right,
if I
right.
was
And I know
getting
you
worse
can.
by
That's
doing it.
that's
Oh,
the
but
can. We're joking
yeah,
around,
yeah,
but I know you can. That's the thing.
yeah,
But my point is that once you can do it once, apply it, and you have that in you, okay, because that's a high level trait. A person that's a radiant player can instantly apply something they want to see, want to try, they saw, or somebody told them that was bad. They can instantly do that. Okay, but my point is that
yeah,
once you do it, you get better at it because you're gonna gain experience. You're gonna make the mistake like I told you before and fix it. Okay, this was okay. Maybe I just ran in and didn't tell them. I turned my ult on too late. Whatever. I don't want to get into it too crazy because it's gonna overcomplicate things. But um, yeah. So just make sure you're gonna apply this knowledge because what's the point of you doing the session with me, right? You might as well not have done it at all. Uh,
yeah,
in that sense, right? Where like, oh,
yeah, yeah,
you're gonna keep making the mistake you keep making. Okay, go ahead, but I don't care. Obviously, I care to some degree where I don't want you to. That's why I'm here spending time with you, breaking things down and making sure you understand it because I don't want you to make the same bad mistakes or mistakes that are gonna make you lose rounds in games because then you're not gonna hit your goals. What kind of coach would I be if I give you information that made you lose, right? So, um,
yeah,
that's something I'd like you to think about. Apply the knowledge, and don't worry, I'm gonna send you the notes. I'm gonna send you the VOD, so that way, whenever you forgot or you want to revisit something, you can. And I really recommend you do that. Okay, because we're talking about so much, there's so much information. We're breaking things out. You may forget, or you want to see the logic behind it, whatever it is. Okay, so let's move on. Um, the next thing is okay, we're almost done actually. 5 more notes, might be about 20 more minutes, 30 minutes. So the next note is needs to understand what angles are going to see them first for the smokes, and we kind of talked about it briefly. We didn't break
Yeah,
it
yeah.
down
I
extensively, but
remember.
this is super important that you ingrain this, apply this to your game now, where you are thinking. Remember how you told me you're like, wait, I kind of have trouble with kind of like the angles and stuff like that, or whatever that point
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
right? This is where it is of like that skill is around. I'm not saying necessarily is, but once you kind of get better at this and think about it and apply it, bro, you're gonna go play this game and you're gonna be running around knowing exactly where to look because that's the type of player I am. And I'm not saying I'm a pro, but I have my own protocols. And obviously, I never had a guy like me to teach me this. All this stuff I'm telling you is self taught. I'm not joking. No, I never really did coaching at all. Okay. No, like this is all self taught. You know how? It's through experience. Is I made all these mistakes where we were coming out tree at three people and I smoked heaven and this guy just came here and fucking killed all of us and just won the round. That's how I learned,
Yeah.
right? So,
I mean, I did the same thing now that I think
right,
about it,
right.
technically.
You did,
If I
but
didn't shoot the Gecko,
right,
thing, I think I would have killed Gecko as
yeah,
well.
yeah. You did make the same mistake, but the result was good because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You threw the smoke here and you still won the round, right? I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
the opposite result where I didn't do it and we literally lost the round, lost the game off of it. You get my point? So,
No, as in no, as in like I was on defense. Remember when I dropped down drop and I killed the clove because technically the
oh,
he didn't
this
smoke
one,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And if
I
I
get what you're
didn't shoot
saying.
the
Yeah.
wingman, I would have killed Gecko. I'm
Right,
sure.
right, right, right. Yeah, but I'm kind of looking past that one. Yeah, but you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's very similar in
But
terms
it's the
of
same. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
mean, same.
yeah,
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 same
it's the same
concept.
same concept. But even then, I think it's slightly different because you don't generally need to smoke tree. Like yeah, obviously it's good. But you went for the fight, so it's like a little bit different. But
Oh
here,
no,
what?
I mean like you know like what you're saying right now is in like this mistake because the guy can come out of drop.
Right,
I
right.
did the same thing. I came
Yeah,
out of
for
drop on defense, if that
right,
makes
right.
sense. Like
Exactly. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, like
Yeah, I agree.
he didn't smoke it.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And
yeah.
then you got to kill the
So I
gecko.
got to
Yeah, and then yeah,
yeah, well
yeah.
I got to kill the clove and then
Oh,
I
the clove.
probably would have
Sorry, the
killed
first guy.
Gecko.
The first guy. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
it was clove. Sorry, I thought it was gecko.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. But yeah, I agree. 100% agree. But anyways, so what I'm saying is that once you kind of start thinking about it and experiencing like this moment in time, this specific round where you guys came out tree, you need to learn from it, right? Being like, okay,
Yeah.
drop sees me first, heaven sees me last, second. Okay, logically, common sense wise, we just smoke drop because you
Dropping
had,
smoke.
and also the main factor was you had one smoke. If you
Yeah.
had two, it's no brainer. Derp, derp. You throw it both down at the same time, or even you could even time it where we're coming out drop. You throw
No
this one,
peeking.
okay? They're coming out, and then your teammates, your duelists are going out. You're obviously not gonna be the first one going like this on your iPad. Then you throw this
Dropping a
one down
smoke.
as they're coming out. You get what I'm saying? Like you maximize on the time the smoke can be up, right? Because if you throw them both down, this one's gonna go down quicker, but they're not really in danger here yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like a
Yeah.
really high level way of thinking of timing on utility. You don't have to do that, but I recommend you start thinking like that. But yeah, so always kind of, we can So anyways, before I do that, we can always just always kind of think about what is seeing us
No
first. That's
peeking.
how you can look at it. What's gonna see us first and be the most threat? Which angle, right? So logically,
I mean,
thing.
it's that and then left. Well,
Yeah, I
technically,
mean,
like the left side,
so
and then as you scale left, yeah.
So I mean, there actually is three options to smoke when you're coming out tree, but in your specific example, somebody was coming main, so we don't need to smoke this off. Right?
Yeah,
He's got
yeah, yeah.
control there. But let's say for example, you guys all went tree, then you can make a case to smoke here as well. If you feel like, there was a couple stairs while you guys were coming tree, you heard that, whatever. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, but let's just make the case where it's an A split, then you just go for the drop, then heaven smoke.
Dropping smokes.
Okay, that makes sense. And maybe I could kind of help you look at it at different angles as well on different parts of the map. But this is something I wanted you to think about, not just on Lotus. You need to develop this because I can't sit here and give you every single map, every single site. Obviously, if you want, ask me a question or ask me. I can help you in the DMs, but we would spend like an hour doing that, right? So what I want you is you to develop that, but it's usually what I tell my students when I come up with this note, because you're not the first guy I've seen this with. You're probably like the 20th guy. Okay, I tell them, okay, use logic. What is gonna be seeing you first? For example, I'll test your logic out. Okay, when you come into B, what sees you first? Link,
Well, it's right in front of you.
C
Yeah.
link, or breakable?
C-Link.
Right. That was just the most simple, easiest answer. I know you know. I didn't ask that question to see if you're dumb. It's just to open up your mind to
Yeah.
where you can start developing this thought processes of how to think. Wait, C-Link sees us even before Heaven and Link. So it just makes sense if we're gonna execute B. Okay, whichever way you want to smoke it, like this or like this, you can go both ways about it. I tend to smoke like this or like
Yeah,
this,
same, yeah.
like this. Sometimes I'll smoke like this because um, I don't want them to have this space here, right? So I want to make sure to see if they've walked out or if they're there already or whatever. So that's usually how I smoke it, or I keep it tight, or like this as well. I think a big chunk of it I smoke like
No
this though.
peeking.
So
Yeah.
that's that. So now and then there'll be times where now you're thinking, wait, what sees me first? But information is really isn't what's important as well, because if let's say you get here and a teammate came wide and didn't see anything, he's holding it. Do we need to smoke it? Probably not. Probably need to smoke this. Right, that's how I look at it. Right, this sees us
Yeah.
first. Let's say a teammate's out here. This is like a specific example, obviously. But if you want to go really safe, which I've seen this and I've done too myself, is you just smoke what is the first two angles that are gonna see you, the most high threat angles. So see Link, Heaven, and then we just fucking swing this together. 4 people, right? Does that make sense? 3 people, and then maybe
Yeah.
one guy will hold this like this. Boop, 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 boop. Right, and then the 3 people are swinging out wide, and then they start setting up, pushing, being aggressive, setting up on site, and then the last guy might hold this just in case he walks out and peeks or whatever. Right? Does that make sense? And then you can decide
Yeah.
what to resmoke off information. Noise, clutch, situational awareness, 2v2. Okay, one's confirmed, breakable. I'm gonna smoke it off for you guys. Whatever. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's move on. Any questions with this?
No.
Okay, that's all. And I know you'll get better at it. It's just a matter of applying what I taught you, which is what's going to see me first? Okay, what's the information at hand? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then you'll develop that as you make mistakes. Be critical. When you made the wrong smoke, it was bad. Okay, should have smoked here instead, maybe. Okay, it's not always definitive, but it's always sometimes in theory, right? So be critical and break it down so you can get better. That's the point of doing it. It's not to make us feel ourselves feel like shit because we're like, oh, you're a terrible player. I'm terrible. It's to take accountability so we can move forward and to never make, or at least make those mistakes at a 5% rate instead of a 60% rate. Does that make sense? So that's that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. The next category is movement slash positioning. The first note is needs to not pre-aim swing out smoke on C. So I'm sure you remember this. We kind of talked
Yeah,
about it,
I
right?
remember this.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'll kind of reenact what you did from what I remember. Okay, this was smoked like this, something like this.
No peeking.
I think it was actually a little bit tighter here.
Drop in a smoke.
Yeah, it's like this.
So it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this, and you pre-aimed here because obviously they're coming out, and you went like this. But what happened? The chamber was already here, like this, on an
Yeah.
off angle. Whether he told himself, I'm gonna be on an off angle, or he got lucky and he was going to go push, and then the timing which you peaked was he was just ready, just doop, and he may even got
I'm
scared.
sure it was that, but it doesn't
Probably.
matter, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We can go both ways about it, but the point is
No
that
peeking.
you should probably coming out smoke like this more, like slice the pie more than just
Mm.
because you went full speed. There was no like caution at all. You're just like pre-aim, go, right?
I think I do. I don't know. I think I think that's like one of my like habits. I guess is like quite bad. As in like, if I'm not sure of what to do, I'll just pre-aim and go. Because I feel like there is situations where chamber will be there and stuff like off angles, but
Yeah,
I can find a fight quickly. So if I'm not sure what to do,
sure.
I'll just try and find a fight. If that
Right,
makes
right. And
sense.
I'm gonna ask you a few questions now. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you see a lot of pros do that where they go
Nah, hell no.
like that? Not really. Do you see what was the next fuck, my mind's going blank. I was just about to ask the question. It's what is better in terms of maybe efficiency in killing is to full sprint fight like that, and then we might have to flick, right? Because maybe he moved like the chamber did, or we come out and we're cautiously clearing every degree of angle. Which one is better? More value.
I mean,
or
definitely the second one.
right, and you could see it's logically makes sense because you here there's no caution at all. You just don't give a fuck. You're
Yeah,
just like, let's go. Which sometimes I can respect, especially if you know he's there. That's a different story. We didn't know anything besides they're coming out, and there was multiple. It's not like it was confirmed in a 1v1 scenario where it's like one. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
what I'm saying is as well with this point is that
No peeking.
caution generally is the best option. And that's why you see a lot of Radiant players on stream or pro players where they're just so patiently just clearing. Sometimes I even like catch myself being like, "Bro, can this guy go outside or like can he go out already?" Like you know what I mean? Like I get kind of sick of them
yeah,
playing
yeah,
so cautiously. But pro players, Radiant players do it so consistently. And there's a reason. And it makes sense to me. It's like they don't want to die. They want the
yeah,
highest chance to win the fights, right? Don't you? I do. I also believe that, right? So I'm sure 90% want the highest chance to win a fight. Nobody wants a 0% chance to win the fight, right? They want 90%, 80, 80, 70. So what I would like you to do moving forward is
Drop in a
take a little. I'm not saying 100% more caution, even though that's kind of what I'm saying. Just take more caution. There's a little bit more value by you just working on being cautious and small movement. When I watch the best players, it's very small, cautious movement rather than a pre-aim unless it's definitive. This guy's in this
right
corner,
here.
100% called out. Okay, and then it's a 1v1 and he's gonna go for it, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's that. Any questions?
No,
Let
I
us know.
agree. Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
I'll help you with one thing as well. I don't know if you know. I'm pretty sure you know.
No
You're Immortal.
peeking.
Don't. I'm not saying you do this or anything. It's just for a future reference tip. Don't ever come out smokes like this. Okay, gun
yeah. Gun
first. You
barrel. Yeah, yeah,
always come out side first. You know how many
yeah.
times I come out of
Swing.
smoke like
Yeah,
this and I still kill him even though he's holding the smoke because I'm like in his POV it's
just quick.
way quicker because of
Yeah,
information being relayed. You know how this ping server to computer like bro, we could talk about it all day, right? But it's just how the game works and the servers and the internet where ping and stuff like that where latency where if you just come out smokes like that bro you'll gain a 2% edge even maybe it's a 1% edge, right? But again
yeah,
it adds up. If we're constantly adding up 1, 2% here, 4% here, 3%, bro, at the end of the day, you're gonna improve by 20%, no, in the long term.
yeah,
So it all adds up. So I would really like you to start thinking about it. I'm not saying you don't do this. You do this just for future reference. That's all. Let's move on. Okay. The next
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is positioning wise on defense needs to play up front and aggressively hold position. So this note really came on defense side and also in the first 7, 8 rounds where not maybe 8 like 6, 7 around yeah 5, 6 maybe around there where you even asked me like what do you think about this positioning and I was like it's a little bit passive, right? You even said I think it's passive, right? It's a little
Yeah.
bit too passive for me. And like how I explained here, right? I'm like, what is the distance from here to here? If we ping
Right
it,
here.
16 meters, like literally 1 second, 1 second of time of movement. Okay, maybe 2 seconds. Okay, but that 2 seconds of micro adjustment in your positioning makes all the difference. Where we can know, absolutely gather information and control.
Hmm.
Right? Does that make sense? Besides here,
Yeah.
do we know? No. Can we see?
What do you think
No.
about like
Yep.
as in like situationally for this game? Because
Mhm.
90% of the time I'm used to just fighting on A, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, and then obviously going
Yep.
breakable B.
Yep.
Now like in this scenario specifically,
Mhm.
apart from the fact that yeah, I could have IGL'd a bit more, like it just ended up like 2B, 2C, and I was just kind of
Right.
left
Yep.
like
So.
so obviously I could have come like actually raise you go on
Right.
A
Yep.
and
Yep.
then
Yep.
but now I'm the one kind of having to hold the A
Mhm.
space, which is kind of weird if that
Yep.
makes
Yep.
sense
Yep.
because like how am I going to smoke for C?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
like
So.
how do you feel? Like
Yep. So.
so I think this position is probably the best
Yep.
case,
For
isn't
for
it? Like
clove.
yeah,
For clove.
yeah,
And if you're by yourself. That's what I was gonna
yeah,
say. If you are a
yeah,
duelist where they don't need you in positioning, right? You're like a duelist here and a duelist here doesn't make a difference. He can't smoke for you, right? Maybe it only will change the flash for Reyna. That's it.
yeah.
But if you're a duelist, when I'm a duelist, I can tell you through what I do. When I'm a duelist, I play sight, whether that's tree. Okay, I usually don't start backside. I usually
Right here.
always start in this area. Okay, or I make the
Trying to take
play,
something early, yeah.
or I take the play to walk down breakable and get into a position where it can be on an off angle. or on top of this box here, and then maybe I just timing where they peek and I just kill and I dismiss out, right? Pew, 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 pew,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So that's kind of how you can look at it as a duelist, whether you're Reyna, Jet, Neon, whatever. And maybe I'll send you this video where it went pretty viral on TikTok. Content I posted literally like 5 days ago. It got like 42K views, 3K likes, and it's literally talking about this exact note, which is don't be passive. Start up front first, then decide what your options are later. Okay, and so I'll continue as a duelist. Play over here in this area, or make the case to walk down. Okay, obviously it's all situational, right? But I think in your case specifically in this game, you got it on the nail. Like just play here, because that
Yeah.
way we can easily
Attacking
go
star.
and smoke things off, right?
Yeah, I got
You
to
can
see, yeah.
you can get to see pretty quickly rather than over here and here. It'll be another
Yeah.
3-4 seconds, right? Um,
But you still
and
have that A line.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then it's automatic. You can smoke B if they go B.
B, yeah.
And then if they go A as well, you're still in a position where, oh, you gathered info, and let's say you got scared, or there's too many, or they dumped utility, like a Vice Molly here, or like a whatever Molly, or like a stun,
Yeah,
and
smoke or
and you could
you
be
could
on.
take a pop shot as well, low
Sure.
key.
Right. Right. What I'll leave that up to you, what you want to do off here. But I think the
Yeah.
position where you start is more important, if you get my point. Because
Yeah, yeah.
you're starting here, right? In my mind, like I was like,
We were really lucky to not get punished for it, to
yeah,
be honest.
yeah, I agree.
This is not,
Yeah,
yeah, this is not more like, I don't know, they were really shit,
they were
to be
terrible.
honest.
Right. But I think also what helped was that initially you guys did fight for A, so they're maybe in their mind they got like conditioned. We're
That's
like,
kind of what happened. I think
yo,
that second one was actually big.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
fucking, they're just perma
Too
fighting
good on A,
A,
yeah.
right? So that could be also a thing. We don't know, right? It's something that's unknown, but we could theory craft that that could be a case too.
And it's like chamber as well, so it's like
Right.
our weak C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I agree with that logic 100%. I would say the same if I was on the, and that's what I do say when there's a chamber and I know he's gonna play C first pistol round. I'm
Yeah.
like, run it down, 5-man
Get
C.
C,
It's
yeah.
weak, right? If it's a cipher, I usually called for the fake A to go C because then they lean A and then he's got trips up on C and he's by himself, and then we take a 4v1 where we'll even break the utility. It needs to be a little bit more thought involved against the KJ and Cypher because he's got really strong utility, right? Versus a
Yeah,
chamber
yeah.
where it's like it doesn't fucking matter, it does nothing, it just
Yeah,
slows, just
there's
fucking
nothing,
go,
yeah.
right? So it's a little bit different of a mindset there. But yeah, with your question here, like logically, it's just so
Yeah,
much
that's the best
better.
spot.
Yeah, just
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
can
It's yeah.
see, we
Yeah, I
can
agree.
hear, we have control, we have the line, like you said,
Yeah.
right? And I think for me, out of all of those, it's the information and the control is the most important. If there's
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else, I think that's really all we talk about that we need to
I
talk about.
agree. I
But
agree.
it's the
Yeah.
control. Maybe not like a physical control, as in you're here stopping them, but it's control
Yeah.
by you get information,
Just knowing,
right,
yeah,
and you
nothing's
know
there, yeah.
what's happening, right? It's kind of like
No lurkers, no
control and
fake, no,
information,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so that's that. I think we broke it down pretty well. You asked a very good question, right? And so and we can break it down on anywhere else. Okay, when you're playing B, don't fucking start here, start here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Try to
forward, yeah.
try to feel it out a little bit, hold for a little bit, like that line we have here, right? Just feel it out. Okay, you hear them, obviously back up. You're not gonna fucking stand here. Okay, there's no noise. What can we do? You just permanently stay here, no? And then we have perma information. And then if you want to get frisky, you start here, and then your teammates give you some information. Yo, 3A, 4C, 3C. What do we there's other
Get like alert
options.
going,
We
yeah.
can start flanking. Right? And if I were to ask you how many times you take space, goose egg, you never did. Because your position didn't allow you to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're so fucking far back that you knew if you're gonna take space, it's gonna take too long. Might as well just rotate. You're in spawn already, right? So I will send you that video where you can kind of see how I explained it. I explained it pretty like 10 out of 10 in that video. That's probably why it blew up. So you can take a look when I send it to you too. Um, and then we can kind of look at C too. Don't fucking start in spawn or deep water spawn. Start down here, right? And then back up if you need. And this is my next point, and it's in the video as well, where you start aggressively, not start aggressively as a running it down aggressively, but you start aggressively by controlling, managing aggressively, staying, having a presence aggressively. Then in your mind, and you need to start doing this on defense, have a secondary, third option in positioning. Like plan ahead. Don't just be like, I'm gonna aggressively maintain the space and sit here, and if they push me, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna start here aggressively, and then if they push me off, I'm gonna go bend and then have an off angle or play off that again, and or hold from here, or I'm gonna go here, or it's gonna be pillar, or it's gonna be water. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then you take
Yeah.
it to a level where it's first position here aggressively. Oh, there's a lot. 3. I've given them the info. They're pushing me off with utility. Okay, I'm gonna come to my second position. They're running up. Okay, so that confirms they're probably gonna hit it. I communicate, whatever. They start dumping more utility here. Okay, I might have to leave. Okay, maybe this is a bad secondary position when they're coming in because you're gonna die here unless this is smoked, right? But whatever. I'll leave that up to you. I want you to develop that. I can't give you a textbook. There's no textbook answer. Just think about how many positions you can take. You can get really creative, no? So I'll let you develop that. I can maybe tell you the spots I like to play, and that's about it. But I know that everybody's different, and everyone has their own mental type thinking, and positioning and sweet spots and a play style. So that's why I tell my students, you develop that. Just keep in mind when you play aggressively in the beginning with your first position, always have a backup because if there's shit's gonna go bad, you know that they're gonna dump off, you're gonna get pressured, they're gonna run at you. You can't panic in this moment when you're rotating, falling off that first position. You need to immediately know where to go and where your sweet spot is to have value, to protect, to kill, whatever, hold, whatever you want to say. Does that make sense? So that's that. Okay. Any more questions with this note?
No, no.
H2P, what's good? What's up? Okay, then let's move on. Okay. And I'll send you the clip so that way you can kind of see again, okay? And another example, because it was with another student. But we pretty much talked about everything in that video. The next note, okay, we are now in. Oh wait, no, last note for movement and positioning. The note is teammates on round 14. Go and entry. We talked about this, remember? Go and entry, and you'll see it in the VOD. Uh, they go and entry. He's just sitting in the smoke. Needs to go in and help the team. This happens when you're in the lobby for too long. Let me just rejoin. But remember that round where I was like, "Yo," and I
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to
of
break
course.
it. I try to break it down for you, not to see if you're dumb, to open up your mind. I said, "What happened? Where were we going? First of all, because we gotta lay down what happened." And you said B. Well, I kind of help you. I was like, B. Okay. Once their defensive smoke went down to stop us because they knew we were kind of heavy B main. What happened? You said, "Oh, we went in," and I was like, "Yeah, the neon rays and the gecko went in, right?" And you're like, "Yeah," and I asked, "What did you do?" And you're like, "Passive." But besides you saying passive, which you were, I would like that you were able to pinpoint. I was sitting in the smoke. I shouldn't have done that, right? Because
Well, what this is my ideology,
go ahead.
like
Yeah.
behind that
Mm-hmm.
specific play. So, like, I was sitting in the smoke, but not for like no reason, if that makes sense. Because
Sure.
usually on
Yeah.
Lotus, like, well, we knew they were heavy A, right? And also the
Mm-hmm.
breakable wasn't broken until we were like halfway up B. It wasn't like broken straight away, meaning that like they're three A stuck
Mm-hmm.
on long,
Mm-hmm.
and then so that means obviously that's normal. So
Sure.
there's maybe one
So
B,
what?
maybe one
Right.
C,
If one
and
of
Yep.
I
those
think like
lookalikes came over here
I
and
felt
pretended to be
that there
worrying,
wouldn't be
I'm not sure
two
I'm
on
able
B
to
at
hold
this
up
point,
peace. My
Sure.
ult is
maybe just
ready.
maximum one. So I felt okay, these three guys are rushing in. My idea is that I know because we heard the breakable door and there's going to be a lot of people coming breakable. So
Right.
my thought process was, well, if I play smoke here, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to get the site, so it's fine.
Okay.
I chose to smoke breakable because obviously I know that's where the most pressure is.
Right.
Then again, because I'm like a very tradey player on Clove, so
Yeah.
like I was just gonna literally like pre-aim swing
Okay.
after they came in. But what happened is they didn't actually come in for a
Mm-hmm.
very long time.
Right.
So it kind of felt like I was baiting a little bit, but
Yeah. You.
which I wasn't, which I
Yeah. Yeah.
was, but
Yeah.
like
You
I
were.
felt like it was for a decent reason because I was
Sure.
just gonna because I thought they would just aggress.
Yep. 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 I think your thought process is valid. I'm not gonna sit here and say no. Your thought process is wrong. Very. Very valid. Okay. But I'm gonna ask you a few questions to open up your mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Are you in a position to trade in this smoke or outside the smoke when they have full control of
Only
the site?
out. Yeah.
Simple, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, what?
As
Because
in, okay,
why would I trade like this where I have to wait for this guy to die when I could just hold and not even trade? I just kill him. Maybe I
yeah,
should
it's a
put it.
good point.
Maybe
It
I
is
should
a
have
good
put it in
point.
that way. Not like what's more better trading, but like if you are out here, you don't even need a trade.
It's quicker
You
anyway.
can just kill
Yeah,
them, and it's quicker
yeah.
if you need to trade, right? Let's say you're out here, and then whatever. Okay, we can theory craft all day, but okay, that's the first question. Now the second question is, if you were a duelist and it was the same thing, same setup, same scenario where three of you guys come out, wouldn't you want the whole team to be out to cover everything rather than one guy just sitting in a smoke, AFK?
Yeah, I mean, like technically, it kind of doesn't make sense because like
Right.
as in like because if I'm out, I don't even need to give the opportunity to trade because I can kill to begin
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
Whereas like
that's
my play is like kind of just like they're getting +1 when you can just
right.
make it 0 or
Yeah.
like -1 if that makes sense.
I
So
can
I
ask you
mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
so many questions with this. Like, what is more of value? Coming out with the team, holding something with them, or just sitting here in the smoke getting ready to trade? It's obviously the latter.
Yeah.
Like we know it's this one where we're coming out holding together in unison. And when we watch VCT, we always got to kind of stem back there. I'm not saying we're pros, but there's a reason they do things together in that way every time. I never ever seen in a VCT game where they entry, smokes are being thrown down, one guy's just AFK holding nothing, just unless he's lurking. That's like the only time really. Okay. Even if you were to watch flank, they tend to go with the team, secure the site, then they come back, right?
Yeah.
So that's that. I feel like this option is better because as well we can hold multiple angles at the same time, if that makes sense. Three people coming out, one guy's gonna be out here, one guy, two people pushing here, and then one guy's holding here, four people. Does that make sense? Like it's like a
Yeah.
unit. It's like one person. It feels like and then obviously however it trades out, it's theory craft at that point. But um, to me, this was a bit silly. I'm not saying that you
Yeah, I
actively.
think like it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
I'm not
Well,
saying.
I mean, no,
Yeah,
it's like no, it makes sense, but not. It's not it's not high enough payoff. If that
right,
makes
right,
sense. Like,
and
yeah,
we can always kind of put it back to value. Yes, your point is valid. It's not invalid at all. I agree with what you're saying. That makes sense logically to me. But the action, or the options we have, this is not as much value
yeah,
as other ones. Does that make sense? Like how we explained on
I agree. I
the
agree.
other notes, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
you're like the K1. Remember, you're like okay, yeah, right? It makes sense, right? Like we're always needing or wanting to choose the best option possible. Like I told you, how the highest level players always are going to try to get maximum value, and obviously that example was with utility, but in this example is more maximum value in terms of team coordination, helping them, right? Does that make sense? So
yeah. I
that's how
agree.
I look at it. And I'm not saying what you did was completely bad, but it's just a little silly because they're out, and it's not even like there's no smokes. Everything was smoke. You threw them down. You threw two down, and they had
Yeah,
full control. It wasn't like also as well where they come out and people are instantly dying. Then I can kind of see what you're saying. Like, oh fuck, I was kind of scared, right? Even then, you should probably start coming out to trade, right? Because your whole team's dying. But
yeah,
when I saw the map, when I saw your POV, you sat here seeing three people just going like this, doing their job, and you're just here like this, licking a wall, right? And so,
yeah.
me,
I thought the thing is, I felt they were gonna go out, but they just didn't like
sure,
execute on
the
us. I don't know
enemies, right?
why.
Yeah, and this might tie with awareness as well, and not POV awareness, but it needs to be your mini map awareness. If you want to play in the smoke, okay, for example, and
Drop
this
in a
I've done
smoke.
this too. I bait because I'm a smoke, so I'm not gonna fucking go out first. I wait for the duelists. I kind of soft bait them,
Of
so they
course.
go out.
Yeah,
While you're in the smoke, don't look at your POV. Look at the mini map. Look at what is going on, if that makes sense. And in this, we can make it more of a specific example.
Dropping
And in
smoke.
this example, when they were
No
coming
peeking.
out, and let's say you're sitting here, and you looked, what would you have seen? Were they dying instantly, seeing red question marks everywhere?
No.
No. They came out full control. They started even pushing because they had so much control, no? So
Yeah, yeah.
always look at the minimap. This is something I teach all my students. Look at the minimap. Not 5 times around. You need to look at the minimap and back to your POV more than 20 times. That's me. I'm personally looking back at the minimap and my POV more than 20 times. It can go up to 50 times in a round if it's a really long round, super chaotic. And I want to be super aware of what the hell's going on because that's the type of player I am. I'm not saying I'm a pro, but I'm a type of player where I'm so fucking sensitive to the minimap. I am literally calling that there's a guy behind my teammate
Can't do
across
that.
the map. Think about that. On defense, I'm literally on C, and I'm so aware of the minimap that there's a guy, my teammate starts rotating, and I saw a red question mark. I'm like, yo, yo, 1-1, stay. He's there, he's there. And the guy didn't even know because he wasn't looking. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And there's value in that. You can see why, because I'm not only accounting for myself but my whole teammates, the whole team as a whole. I'm accounting for space, making sure we're not going to get shit on in the slightest bit of one sliver of open space or whatever the scenario is on attack or defense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's that. Any more questions? I think that was very valid
No,
with
no.
what we talked about. Okay, let's move on. I think this is a moment in time where you can learn, right? And that's all. Where you understand this ties into fundamentals, right? Fundamentals of entering and scaling. The concept of entering and scaling. I always tell my students when they're a main duelist role player, I tell them it's a team expedition. Just because you're a duelist doesn't mean you do it by yourself. They need to throw smokes down. Utility needs to go out, and they need to come out with you to trade, hold, kill, right? So it ties in with the fundamentals of entering and scaling, okay, to be efficient as possible as a team. So that's how you can look at it. All right, let's move on. Okay, 2 more notes and we're finished. Yay. Okay, 2 more notes. Game sense slash mental game. Okay, the first note would like him to set up a plan called pre-round on attack. And obviously, you might be like, what the fuck? This is not game sense. But this note can tie into communication, right? Movement slash positioning, whatever. It doesn't matter. It can go into any of those categories. But I put it in game sense. It could even go in the IGL category, right? Like we talked about. I put this in the the game sense category because I feel like because the definition. I don't know if you know the real definition. A lot of people get the definition of game sense wrong. The definition of game sense means your understanding of the game. Okay, whether that's map knowledge, how to take fights, aiming, mechanic, whatever it is. Okay, how to rotate, how to set plans, how to control space, how to throw smokes down, timing, what anticipate. That's all. It all is under game sense. Your understanding of the game. And to me, a player that has high game sense will really 80-90% of the time set a plan on attack. Okay, and obviously we can set plans on defense too, but on attack it's more crucial because we got to be more coordinated. If I were to ask you what's harder side, attack or defense, what would you say?
Definitely attack.
Definitely attack, right? The language is definitely, you know it wholeheartedly. I know it. I knew it before I actively thought about that. If somebody asked me, I already knew attack was super hard. Most new players do. They're like, why is attack so hard? They don't even know, but they're like, why is it so hard? Defense is so easy for me. Okay, and there's reasons. It's because attack requires full team cooperation, synergy to really make it work. If two people are doing it, it's not gonna work. You're gonna die. Okay, and I always ask my student, have you not seen one guy on defense kill the whole team on one spot? It's because defense is easy. You know where they can come from, right? Where can they come from on B? Well, minus the side
Right there.
parts. Right here, one entry point. A, where can they come from? Well, minus the side points for now. A main, C, same thing. Okay, C main. That's it. And then obviously it gets a little bit more complicated with the parts of the map knowledge where they can open the door and stuff. But we're gonna rule that out. Okay, on attack, when we go in, where are they gonna be? Where do we think they're gonna
Well,
be?
there's three. Well, there's three like entrances, but then
Right,
all oversight like
right.
spots.
Exact, bro. There's a fucking crossfire here, over here, under
Yeah,
here, off angle here. Off. There's fucking 50
yeah.
off angles in this one spot.
And then smokes and utility. Yeah.
Smokes, utility. Now there's three. Bro, right? It's super hard as an attacker. There needs to be coordination. Flashes need to be thrown. Smokes need to be going down. Certain dogs, drones need to be, going down. And that's why that role became really popular. 3 years ago, I don't know about you, but NA, it used to always be 3 duelists, one sentinel, and one smokes. There was never an initiator player for the first 2 years of the game being out. I'm not joking. This is real, subjective. Okay. Obviously now, what do they say? We need an initiator. We need one, right? You hear that all the time. We need one.
Sometimes two.
Right? What the fuck? Why don't we have an initiator? Now people have realized that as the general pool of players have gone better, climb more experience, people have realized that the attacking side is so difficult without an initiator to gain us info to know if certain things are not there or open or there. You know what I mean? Because as
Yeah,
well,
of
if
course.
the general population has gone better, they're better on defense as well. Where one guy, bro, I don't know how many times I've seen this, where one guy literally kills the whole team.
I mean, even I got a 4v1 this
That's
game.
what I'm saying. Right? It's so easy to do that on defense, but it's really hard on attack. Much harder, at
Yeah.
least. Maybe not really hard. So that's why, in my mind, um, really strong game sense player are gonna develop these plans so that it gives them a big percentage or a high percentage to win the round. And we can get into some example. I mean, we'll talk about this now. Okay. Remember when I asked you, do you know your? Oh, actually, I don't know if I asked you in the beginning. I think you, yeah. Do you know your your six attacking concepts that
Mm.
pros use, the average noobs use, everybody uses on the daily more than fucking a million billion times a day. Okay, that's over exaggeration, but you get my point. Do you know your six basic concepts? It's okay if you don't know. I will teach you.
Okay.
Try to name them.
Um,
I think we did go
I
through them
guess
a little bit.
default. Are you on about
Default,
like yeah?
good. Default's one,
Uh,
perfect.
like hit,
Running
like
it
just a
down,
straight hit.
rush, right? Counter strike, rush A, rush B.
Um,
Yep, execute. I like to call them
like
execute.
a
That's two. We
like
got
a
two.
fake,
Fake, perfect. Three. Got three more.
double fake. Does that count?
Nah, I'll just put that into fake. That's
Okay,
just like a
yeah.
like advanced fake, right? Think about some.
Like a split.
No, I kind of put that in running it down, right? Because
Oh, it's like kind of a hit.
it's just you run it down and C split, guys. Like rush C split or whatever the site and map is, right? So
Hmm.
so we got three.
Like a contact. Does that
Yes,
count?
perfect. Contact. That is one concept as well. I'll break these
So
down
that's
further. So we
four.
got two more. Think about
Oh,
one that's similar to fake, but it's also a misdirection concept that requires more conditioning than a fake, as in conditioning the enemies to use it. Because fakes, you need to condition to them to some degree. Yes, you can call a fake on the first round, and it will work a lot of the times, but this concept won't necessarily work unless you've ran it down and run fakes a lot. Starts with an R. I don't want to help you.
oh, fuck.
Yeah.
No.
No, no. I don't consider that an attacking
I have
concept.
no idea. I have no idea.
Rehits, right?
Oh yeah, like a rehit.
Right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. And then the last one.
Fuck.
I'll try to help you with this, which I don't want to, but it starts with
Yeah,
an L. Attack. What do we do on attack? Defense, we flank. Attack, we. It's the same. Same thing as
right.
flanking and taking space. What's the same thing as a defender taking space and walking down and flanking? What's the opposite of that on attack?
Same thing as
Yeah. Try to think about it. They're
like.
correlated. They're connected. I'll try to help you out further. Sentinels usually do this by
Oh,
themselves.
lurk.
Perfect. Lurk
Yeah,
slash inserting a lurk, whether you lurk
yeah,
or a
yeah,
teammate's lurk,
yeah,
or you insert a teammate or yourself. Does that make sense? And so we'll break this down
yeah.
further. Rush, self-explanatory. We don't need to break it down. Okay, run it down. Okay, execute. Default is to. Maybe I should ask you. What is default?
Like on this map, maybe like a three
Just
one
in
one sort
general.
of
In
thing.
general. It doesn't need to be specific. Give me the
You
general concept.
split the map and
Yep.
try and like control
Good.
some space and take some space,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. I'll give you a better definition, okay? Generally, default, we split up across the map to control, right? play for pick to control space, play for kills, play for picks. Okay, then
Yeah.
sorry, to play for picks and also gather crucial pieces of information like where the sentinel is playing. That's usually the main piece of information we need to know, or where initiator is, or where it's stacked, right? Then to group up together after we've gathered that information, got a kill, whatever the scenario is, or have controlled certain space, to group up and then to hit something together. Right? Is that correct? Tell me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
That's
No. No.
generally what default is, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What is contacting?
When you like don't show any presence, it's kind of like a very slow hit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
you could split it up, but usually
yeah.
it's like a 4-1.
Okay. I like your definition. It's pretty good. I'll give it like a 0.75 out of 1. I'll give you a better definition. Contacting is a add-on concept. Yes, there are times we call a five-man contact, but it's actually added on to other concepts. For example, guys, we're gonna fake A. I want Fade and Jet. We're gonna fake here. Clove is gonna be here to smoke stairs for them, and then Cypher, Reyna, you guys are gonna contact up. You see what I did there? Where they're gonna,
Yeah.
because at our level, they're gonna understand what contact means. If you tell a plat player what's contact, they probably won't know. But us, Immortal players, if we say, "Yo, contact up," they obviously and automatically understand that we need to kind of play it slow, not make any noise, and be silent. Like walk up together, right? Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
to me, that's how I look at it. Where contact is a add-on thing, and you can and it's a very creative concept. It's one of the more creative ones where you can add it on. Guys, it's default. One guy's gonna contact up. Guys, it's rehit, but we're gonna contact with the rehit on both when we go up and when we fall back and when we go back. We can contact 3 times. No, so it's an add-on. Guys, fake. We're gonna start A, go C, 3 people contact up C. We're gonna sell the fake over here. You see how it works like that? And obviously there are times where 4-man contact, 5-man contact. That is very viable too. I've done that a lot as well. But I think it's used more often as an add-on than a singular
Yeah.
concept on attack.
I
That's how I
agree.
that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
look at it. I could be wrong, but maybe I'm dumb.
No. No. I agree.
But that's that. So we did the rush, default, contact. What is fake? Super easy. I know if you got it, you answered it. I already know you know what it is. So what is fakes to you?
Yeah, like selling an idea of going to one site and then
Good.
having the others like go to the other.
Right. Whether we tell them to contact or it's a singular lurk, right? Just a cipher and we 4-man fake it. Whatever the scenario is. I look at it as it's also another misdirection concept. We want to pull them to A, sell A, like you said, so that way we can go to C with the least resistance. Right? Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
fakes and rehits are a little bit unique because most of the time they require conditioning, if that makes sense. Because you got to run it down and then force them to start adjusting to what you guys are doing, which is run it down and fast rotate, and then once we've figured that out, wait guys, they're just fucking immediately running and stacking A when we start here. Let's run a fake, right? It requires some of that conditioning involved. No, so
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that's how I look at it. Okay, you pretty much got it pretty spot on. I just wanted to add on that where we'll take your knowledge to the next level if you think about it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can also use a fake with inserting lurks or doing a contact as well or whatever. So, or you can even start as a default, then you start faking A, then go C. Do you see how advanced that is? We put 3 concepts together, and maybe we can even add it with a contact. Default, guys. Okay, now we're gonna 3 people group up, start A, make a bunch of fucking noise. Okay, and then we're gonna 2-man contact C or insert a lurk, whatever. What you choose. You can be really creative. That's the beauty with these concepts. You can put them together, and that's what the pros do. That's what people don't understand. People think pros are just so these god mode, untouchable people, brain people. No, they use these 6 concepts, but there's a lot involved with conditioning, understanding their enemy individually as a whole, using tendencies and frequencies, being creative, stuff like that. Okay, so running it down, defaulting, contact, fakes. Okay, let's go through rehit. What is rehit to you? Super simple. I feel it should be for you.
So you start a play off, let's say like going A. You can
Yep.
even do it as 5.
I agree.
And like A is a good example because like the defenders fight the space.
Right.
Um, so you made presence in an
Mm-hmm.
area, and then
Mm-hmm.
you kind of just play silent, cut noise,
Yep.
and then when maybe they have then left the area because they think you're like rotating,
Mm-hmm.
you like
Come
re-hit the
back.
area,
Perfect. Good.
and
Mm-hmm.
Definition's good.
yeah, and
Okay, I'll make it even more.
Thrifty.
Oh, I'll make it even more advanced for you. Okay.
I reckon I'll take a kip after
Just
this.
how you said
I've
that.
earned
Okay,
it.
so there's a few things. So the first thing is, you know how you said we can silently walk off? Oh, actually, before we
Oh
say that,
yeah.
talk about that, I should say, re-hit is also another misdirection concept, like I told you, but it requires more conditioning than a fake. And usually, a re-hit starts being used after you've shown fakes. You're not gonna run it down and run a re-hit. Sometimes, like 20, 30%, but I look at it where it's like the progression of concept usage is usually running it down. Okay, then we run fakes, and then like it'll either be default, depends on the scenario, default, then re-hitting, right? And then
mm,
obviously contact and inserting lurks are incorporated into all those. But
makes sense.
re-hit as well. On top of that, you don't have to silently walk off. We can, with conditioning. For example, I'll give you an example I use all the time. Okay, let's say it's 4 rounds. Okay, the first 4 rounds we ran it down on A. Okay, we absolutely stomped them and won. It's 4-0 for us. The fifth round, and let's say after that fourth round, we identified what their adjustment was. They started fast rotating. We know that without a doubt. We're not guessing. We know. When we were on the fourth round and on site, there was fucking four there. Now we know what their strategy is. So on the fifth round, we're like, guys, let's fake. They're fast rotating. They're aggressive. We can fake A and go C. I want two people to sell it, fade in a jet. One guy will hold mid, Clove will smoke stairs, and then run back off to C, and then Cypher and Reno will go C. Right? Let's say we did that for another 2 rounds and it worked, or we lost. It doesn't matter if we won or lost. Okay, just the conditioning part. Okay? Then, now, or let's say we won, it's 6-0. Okay? And then now we're like, wait, we want to get ahead of their adjustment, and we go, guys, let's run a rehit. We're gonna sell A, fall off, but then re-hit A. And this will take a little bit of a brain work here, okay? So bear with me. It's all gonna make sense. So let's say on the seventh round, it's 6-0. We've decided to re-hit, right? Off the conditioning. We start here, freeze. Let's say there's 4 of us here, okay? 5 of us here. What are the enemies going to start believing? Off what we
The
have
just
seen off the 6 rounds in these examples.
Well, yeah, if you're hitting and it's been working,
Yep.
they're gonna like fast rotate, like you say.
Perfect. That's what I'm looking for.
Um,
They're gonna lean. I
yeah,
like to use lean, not like a full get on site stack, but lean. They're gonna make their way towards A very quickly, right? And then
yeah,
maybe leave an anchor on C. That's generally what they do on our elo, and they'll probably have a chip B or
yeah, yeah.
whatever. We can theory craft all day about that. Doesn't matter. That's not the point. So you are correct. They're gonna start leaning. Okay, and so we obviously as a team know that, and we start controlling here a little bit, right? Shoot around, fuck around, throw smokes down a little bit, make noise. We
Yeah,
gotta sell it, right? We're not gonna immediately leave. It's not gonna work. There, the guy, because if we do, the guys that are in rotation, they're gonna get the communication
yeah,
that
they're
they've
just gonna
left,
rotate
and then they're
back.
gonna go back,
Yeah,
and it's not gonna work, right? I'm glad you understand that. You'll be surprised how many people don't understand that. Okay, so now we fucked around, made a lot of noise. We get them to lean and stay A, and then we can stomp our feet and start running off, freeze. Let's say we get to mid, and maybe even they start taking space because they thought we are A, and then they start trying to flank, and then we take contact here, and so we freeze it here. There's 5 of us here. They have information. We're rotating. Okay, we freeze and put ourselves in their position. Now what will they believe?
that you're fucking it off to C
Right.
or B
And we
maybe.
ran a fake, so won't that confirm to them, yo, it's a fake, it's a fake, right? They're like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god, it's a fake again. We ran it in the last 2 rounds, right? In the
yeah.
example. So then what did they start doing in terms of
Leaning more
positioning?
towards C
Right. They
or
start
maybe B.
leaning towards C or absolutely giving A up, and all 4 of them start going C, right? And then what? And we
Yeah,
freeze that moment in time. What do we start doing? Maybe this guy goes away, and we should start walking back or running back. I mean, usually on the rehit on the last part where you go back, it's usually a walk off, right? A walk back. Um, and then
yeah,
if we freeze it, what's happening? They are believing it's a fake because we conditioned them to, but we're rehitting A and we get on the site for free. You don't know how many times I've called this off conditioning. Like, I'm like, is anybody there? Because I'm the lurker. and then 4 of my teammates go up. It's free, absolutely free, and they're all stacking C, and they get caught with their pants down, right? Does that make sense? And we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
take it a step further with the same example. Let's say at the port where we fuck around, made noise, we lean them over here, we smoke, and then we stomp our feet, take contact here. Nobody dies. He just gathered information, or we may even kill him. Whatever the scenario, it doesn't matter. Okay. I take it a step further. This is super fucking big brain, where I will tell one guy, whether that's a duelist. Generally, it's me that does it because nobody can do it like me. Okay. I will generally tell one guy to come here. So me, I'll come here. My team starts walking, right? And we freeze. Like off the contact we said on mid when I showed you the defensive POV. They are going C, booking it from A. I come here, clear, obviously, vigilantly. Take the orb if it's there, and start shooting around with 2 guns. I take a classic out and my gun. Even though it's kind of seems silly, bro, you don't know how many times I've done this, and they're frozen here, and I stay here until my teammates are literally here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to ping. Sorry, give me 1 sec. Right
Yeah, I
here,
see it. I see it. Yeah, yeah.
right here, and then I tell them, "You guys have it?" They're like, "Yes." I just start fucking running off, and I can confirm to them as well when I'm here by myself that there's 3. Yo, it's 3, it's 3, because they'll smoke and they'll start spamming it, and I mean throw a piece of utility, whatever it is. Okay, it depends on what agent I am, and I'll make a lot of noise, and I'll kind of even sometimes like I really want to sell it because I tried it before and it didn't work. I'll like come here, I'll be in the smoke, and I'll make a lot of fucking noise. And what does that make them believe in their POV if we freeze it? While these guys are walking up on the hit, they absolutely believe it's a fake. It's confirmed that we're C. They're frozen here for like an extra 10 seconds. Where if I didn't do that, they're here. There's no noise for 3 seconds. They immediately start running, and we might be here when they're rotating back instead of we're on site when they're rotating back. You see the difference there? So
Mhm.
that's something you can add to this rehit. It's super complicated. It takes a lot of experience to start doing that. Okay, but I really believe you can do it. I really see it. I don't think you're a moron. Okay, so um, and I'm sorry it was extensive, but that's how I look at rehits. It's super, super, super strong if you make it that way, off understanding what the enemies have seen before in the rounds prior about you guys using tendencies and frequencies, right? Um, and then also adding those small details as making them confirm we're going C, but we're not. You see that fucking big brain there? So that
Yeah.
and trust me, a lot of people argue, wait, how will one guy? Doesn't matter. Okay, people don't think 3, 4 steps ahead. They're only thinking that we're running that fake like we did prior. So when we make this noise, it confirms their belief that sight guy might even be like, "Yo, they're front C now, they're front C," and then they start immediately leaning heavy, they drop everything they do and start rotating over, and then we're just walking up like ninjas, and it's a free sight, least resistance, or at least it's one guy, 2 people max. And a lot of times, if you do this properly, it's never 2 people in my experience. It's always one guy maximum. A lot of the times free. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes sense.
and that's that. So, and then the last one is lurking, inserting lurk. I'll just tell you. Okay, the main reasons we'll tend to lurk or insert a lurk is to gather information, cause chaos, and create timings. Okay, you can lurk up using team contact. 4 people start A, they're gonna start leaning, and then you lurk up. It's just a simple example, it's not a specific one. We just start lurking up, and then we create a timing, right? Because we're in, not dead, in behind enemy lines, and then we cause chaos. Imagine if you're here, you hear, they're rotating, you kill this guy, and then they start communicating. You put yourself in their shoes, freeze. You kill this guy. What will he say? You kill this guy running to A. Kill this guy. What will he communicate? What would you say if you're rotating to A and a lurker killed you here?
Bro, I'll just be fucking pissed to be honest.
Sure, but I'll tell you. Let's say I'm a cipher and I kill this guy. This guy would and we're assuming they're high level players, so they're always gonna be really on top of their communication. He would say, "Cipher, Heaven on B. He killed me. There's a lurker. He's up." Right? And then what will start happening to the teammates? They'll start panicking
Start
to
leaving.
start
Yeah.
looking for this guy, right? But this guy's big brained like me, and he comes over here and he kills this guy. And then this guy calls, yo, he's C link now. Now I reposition to breakable, and the A players start coming. I kill this guy, and then my team might be rotating C. Whatever the scenario is, we're kind of theory crafting. But does
Yeah.
that make sense? You can cause a lot of chaos if you can put yourself in their shoes by what they're
Yeah.
communicating. That's the simple tip that I teach everybody. If you kill somebody, always put yourself in their shoes. What does he see? What does he know? Who killed him? And if you freeze yourself, and it can't be 5 seconds you're thinking about, it needs to be milliseconds. When you kill this guy, it's like, fuck, he knows I'm here. I need to reposition myself to throw them off. Does that make sense? You kill this guy. Oh, he knows
Yeah.
there. I'm trying to go that way now. I'm going to go back and then wrap back around. They're looking for me here. And then they're just here like, oh my god, where's the cipher? And you come here, you just kill this guy. Bro, you don't know how many times I've done that. I'm like a fucking ghost. These guys cannot look for me. Okay? And also, when you lurk, it becomes a double-edged sword for the defenders. Okay? Why? I'll explain it. If this guy lurked up and they know it, okay, what do they have to do to kind of deal with this guy? What
Well,
options do
did
they have?
they either util or they just have to try and fight him?
Right. Is it one guy gonna run this guy down when this lurker has a really good positioning and this guy knows?
Not likely.
No.
Well, he might
What
die
will
if
he
he does
say?
it.
He'll be like, guys, let's kill this guy.
Help.
Let's kill mid.
Yeah.
2, 3 people, right? We gotta expend people,
Yeah.
and just like you said, you answered it correctly. We have to use utility as well. Does that make sense? We gotta use a flash to come kill him, or a dog, or a dart to clear this
Yeah.
area.
Like drone. Yeah.
Right. And the other option, so that's the first option. They can use utility plus people to come and kill you, which is that a heavy amount of resources to look for one guy lurker?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second option they can do is leave you there. And is that an advantage to the lurker or the defenders? Do the defenders want to leave a lurk in mid? No.
I'd hope not.
Yeah. If you do, you're sick on the head because you're gonna get shot in the back of the head, right? And nobody likes
Yeah.
getting shot in the back of the head. So, I used to ask that question. It used to be a little joke. I said, "Do you like getting shot in the head?" And then everyone said no. We'd all laugh about it, like all the students every time I asked it. But nobody does. So you see how it's a double-edged sword. We have to either expend utility, resources to go and kill him, or leave him alone where he can do whatever the fuck he wants, cause chaos, gather information, right? So that's why it's really crucial. You can start lurking and get really good at it, or you insert people to do it. Me, I'm lucky where I started this game in the beginning, where in episode 1, okay, I was a cipher main for the first 6 months, so I was always constantly. You can see where I got that skill from. I was constantly lurking, getting better at it, learning about timings, knifing people in the back because it got better like that. But people were so bad where 4 people. This is a simple example. 4 people would start A, and they would fucking full rotate A. No worry about anything. They didn't care. They would just run, did not care. They would even run through mid like this with their knife out. And I would just be like this. I see my team take contact, and I would immediately just go like this. I would just be clearing corners with my knife. I'm not joking. I wish I had clips to show you. I would literally be like this, and I'm in their spawn within 3 seconds, 4 seconds of the round. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
People didn't even hold mid down back then. Now, people are so aware. How common is a mid-late lurk now?
Bro, I like
Bro.
when I go through breakable, my
Yeah.
gun is out 100% of the time.
Right, because you know and you anticipate that because it's common. Back in the day, it was not. But obviously, people have gained more experience, learned, got better, where now they look for that and people do it because they started understanding how important timing is, how strong lurking is, how much chaos it can control and information I can gather. Right? Even if I come up here and I don't kill anybody, but I hear 4 people running in spawn to A and my teammates are not up on A, they're rubble. I'm like, leave, hello, go see, right? It's just no brainer.
Yeah.
It's a free site, right? So I'm not joking. I literally, I have a knife montage. I wish I have it actually. I can show it to you on my TikTok. It's really old. It's 3 years old. I knifed people, 3 people a game. That's how good I was with lurking, timing, understanding, using the information, team contact to take that timing. Because I was just cipher. That's all I did. Sit mid, team takes contact, lurk, take a timing, kill 3 people, tell my team to rotate if they need to. If not, just keep going and pushing and causing chaos. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
it's really important that you kind of develop this skill. Would not tell you to be shy about it. And then, so a little bit of a hidden note, even though we're talking about attacking concepts, defensively, like I asked you, flanking and taking space is actually the opposite. It's tied together. If you get good at lurking, you'll get good at understanding taking space and flanking. If you get good at taking space and flanking, you'll automatically get good at lurking. And I'll ask why. Why do you think that is? It's okay if you don't know.
Cause
Just try to think about it.
hmm,
It's very interesting, isn't it? I will
because
tell.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
it's like because when you start doing it,
Hmm.
they'll start like countering it if that makes sense. Like
Mm, not necessarily. I'll help you. Okay, I'll just tell you. When we take space and walk down, right? What are we doing when we take space? We're actively clearing corners, making sure, right?
yeah,
Gathering information, causing chaos as well when we kill them, right? We make it, and then we kill them, we cause chaos. No, we add pressure. Attack is the same thing. When we lurk by ourselves, what are we doing? Not clearing any corners. We're literally clearing everything. It's the
yeah,
same things you are clearing, but it's flipped to the opposite side. Does that make sense? If I were to lurk up
yeah,
A,
yeah,
I gotta clear rubble. I gotta clear breakable. Same thing if I'm on defense and I want to take space, and they started here but they ran off, and I want to take space now. I gotta clear here. Let's say it's not broken. Gotta clear here, right? I gotta make sure it's the same pathing. Does that make sense? And so it's
yeah, yeah,
tied
yeah,
together in that sense. And a lot of people think lurking is a defensive thing. No, and that's why you got to differentiate both. Even though it's kind of the same thing. Defense, it's either flank or take space. On attack, it's lurking. Okay, does that make sense? So
yeah, yeah,
um, and trust me, if you really focus on this and improve on one side, you will automatically understand the other side better because generally you know where people are. You're taking space, but you now are experienced with fighting the lurker. You know how they like to lurk. We can go on all day about it. Does that make sense? So,
yeah.
that's that. Okay. Any questions with this note?
No,
Okay, that's it. That's all your notes. And I think we had a very good conversation. I feel like a lot of your thought processes are quite valid, but it's not about being valid, it's about value, maximizing ourselves in terms of decision making, right? To be elite, to be
yeah,
separated from everybody else. Even though you're immortal, okay, the average immortal player is really bad in my eyes. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but through my experience of playing this game for 5 years, they're terrible. Okay, so if you really want to be radiant, like you said, which is your goal, right? You gotta start working on that mental edge, fundamental edge, mechanical edge. Does that make sense? It always gotta come back to your goal. Always. When you are aim training, in the range, playing games, trying to get better, you gotta think, what is this for? We're not doing it for no reason, right? It's so that way you can hit your goal. Be a radiant player. Be respected.
mhm,
Respect yourself. No? Imagine if a guy
I
played this
agree.
game with no purpose. What do you think is gonna happen? Do you think that guy's gonna be radiant? No,
No,
that guy's gonna be
no,
hard
no.
stuck diamond probably forever. And I have some students that are hard stuck silver for 4 years, no matter how many sessions they get with me, because they have no clear purpose and goals that they can be excited about, obsess over every day, and move forward towards. They're stuck in subjectiveness, this. They don't want it enough. Does that make sense? And so, if you
Yeah,
want it enough, you will get it. Trust me, my friend, you will. But it's just a matter, like I said in the beginning of the session, it's a matter of how you want it to be. Okay, you get to choose if you're gonna hit radiant or not. And I told you it's not fucking easy. Through talking
mm,
to a lot of people that were radiant or try to go radiant, or my students that try to go radiant and they quit on me, or myself, I try to go pro in this game at one point.